Hey guys, I think we are live now. Can anybody confirm from the live chat that are we live or not? Can you guys see me and can you guys hear me properly? I think we are live. Let me just quickly cross check. Okay, I think great. So thank you so much, guys. Thanks for joining. And yeah, thanks, Sagar, for confirming. Okay. Hey guys, so guys, we have one very special session today that a lot of people were asking about the QA career path, QA, what is the future for QA testing, what exactly we are going to do after a couple of years, what is going to happen with my profile, is QA safe? A lot of questions I was getting almost a daily basis, 200 questions I was getting on LinkedIn, email, WhatsApp, everywhere. So I thought of discussing with a couple of people like Brijesh, Soumya, Mukesh, and other people are in there, very good people, and then very knowledgeable and very having good name. They've spent more than 10 years in the industry, and then some they have really good knowledge about it. So I thought of having this particular webinar with all of these folks, and then came up with this particular idea. So especially with the Brijesh, that in association with the TTC, that we discussed a couple of times, that I think there should be a topic, there should be a webinar about all these topics. So that is the main reason behind that. So if you have any kind of question with respect to your career, with respect to QA, how to jump into automation, or maybe some other profile, what is the future, and how to start learning the things and everything, feel free to ask that. I have already prepared a couple of questions from my side. Whatever the question people were asking in to me directly, and whatever the question I got it from the LinkedIn, I have collected all these questions, and then discussed with other panels also. On the basis of that, I'll be having it. So panel doesn't know about these questions, and that will be surprising for them as well. So on the basis of that, we will move further. So I would like to welcome to all of you guys, Brijesh, Soumya, Srinivas, Shailesh, Aparajita, and Mukesh. Please come, and then please welcome. Hey guys, how are you guys?
Hi
Good.
guys.
Thank you so much for
Hi guys.
hosting this one. Thank you. And good to
Great,
see
great,
you all.
great.
Yeah, thanks, Naveen.
Thank you guys. Thanks for joining. I think Brijesh, you are joining from Netherlands,
Yeah.
and Prajita, thank you so much for joining early for you, that early morning for you. I think you are joining from US, right?
Yep. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And Srinivas, Shailesh, and Soumya, thank you so much. Like Soumya,
Thank you.
you were having some office works, but I'm really, really thankful to you that you're joining. Okay, guys. So you know the drill, that this is the what that we have to start. So let me introduce quickly that all the panelists. We have first panelist Brijesh. We all know that Brijesh is having more than, I think, 15 years experience, Brijesh, or 20 years in the industry.
20.
Yeah, around 20 years. And I think the godfather of QA, I would say. A very big name. A lot of things we are learning, a lot to know, a lot to understand from Brijesh. And yeah, thank you so much for giving this idea to have this panel discussion with all of these people. Then we have Mukesh. We know that, okay, we are our automation guru, that the oldest YouTube guy in automation. That a lot of things I learned. My very good friend of mine. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Mukesh.
so much.
Then we have Shailesh. Shailesh is having really, really good name in the community. I've always follow your talks, your things that you're sharing on LinkedIn. A big fan, although we could not talk much earlier, but yeah, thank you so much, Shailesh, for joining here. And then we have Soumya. Soumya is a very good position. And then I think Soumya is a person who joined, I think, who moved from development to QA, right, Soumya? And then definitely we're looking forward your experiences and your views on QA and automation things. And then we have Aparajita. Aparajita, thanks for joining joining from US. I have seen your test speak talk on TTC channel, and really impressed with your knowledge and other things that you are doing. So again, welcome to Naveen Automation Labs. And then we have Srinivas sir. I really, really respect you. And then I have seen a lot of talks, of the way you talk, the way you present your ideas and things. Definitely, it will help us a lot to know, lot to understand, lot to learn from you, sir. So Thank you so much for
Thank you,
joining.
Naveen.
Okay, great. So, guys, without wasting our time, that and this is Naveen here from Naveen Automation Labs. So you know that yeah, I'm learning from these folks, and then yeah. So I have a couple of questions that I've already listed out, and then the first question definitely I'll start with Srinivas. That I don't know that how will you take this particular question? That will I be able to survive as a tester in future if I start my career with testing? Will I be able to survive as a tester or not?
Will I be able to survive as a tester? Good question, Naveen. Good question to start with. The short answer, if I say no, you won't be able to survive as a tester, none of you. You won't be able to survive if you don't unlearn and learn, if you don't upskill daily, if you don't become specialist. You won't be able to survive. Just period. There is nothing else there. There's a lot of things every day. Today I learn something, tomorrow there is something new. It keeps every day, every day. I started my career 20 years back. It used to be so simple. It's like a Chewy application, character UI, or like it used to be like client server is a big thing. Oh wow, I have a client and I have a server and I'm connecting. That's like a very big thing at that time. Now there is like so much of complexity involved and all that. There's a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities. So if you understand them, you have a lot of things to grab. There are a lot of opportunities to grab in each of these. Every day you're getting an opportunity here. So if you can grab them, you should be able to survive. If you don't grab and say like, okay, I am a functional tester, I am an automation engineer, I'll remain there. Selenium will be there forever, or functional testing will be there forever. You won't survive. I can guarantee that. I have seen people who are like just stuck in their career as a senior engineer because I keep telling them, my team, change is the only thing that is constant.
Correct.
If you are like afraid to be changed, I mean, if you're afraid of change, if something comes up and you say, oh, I don't know what DevOps is, CI/CD is, you won't survive. But if you jump in, look at an opportunity, everything is an opportunity. Look at YouTube as an opportunity, Udemy as an opportunity. Everything is an opportunity. DevOps is an opportunity. AI is an opportunity. ML is an opportunity. Jump in, try out. You might like, you might not like. Come out. If you don't like, try out other things. Somewhere you will find your love and then continue there. Definitely you will survive for long if you do that.
Sure.
It's a great profession.
Perfectly. I think that's absolutely agree with you that if you don't upscale and then don't upgrade yourself in your career, then definitely every day there is a new challenge, there is a new learning. There are a lot of tools, technologies are there in the market. You have to keep learning, and then there are a lot of competition in the market. So I totally agree with you, sir. Then I move to yeah.
I just want to add one more point to what Srinivas just mentioned. If you look at the industry from last 15, 20 years, there is always a saturation point at each level. Okay. So we all started with manual. Okay. We understood that there is something called as automation that has come. Everybody moved to that. Now everybody knows functional. Everybody knows. Earlier there was only QTP was in the market.
Correct.
And then everybody got saturated, moved to Selenium, then move to API. So there is a saturation point. So I completely agree what Srinivas has mentioned, that there are saturation points at each levels and you need to upskill yourself every day.
Correct. Exactly. Absolutely right. So I have a next question to Brijesh and Shailesh. Maybe you guys can pitch in. That what will be the QA career path? In fact, I have seen in most of the companies that they don't have any QA career path. That if you see in dev, we have SD1, SD2, then staff engineer, principal engineer. People, they don't talk about that. Do we really have the staff, a QA engineer or architect, or can I be a engineering manager or AP or maybe the vice president of the company and maybe delivery manager or something like this? Or after 10 years, what will be my career in QA? So what should be a career path according to you, Shailesh and Brijesh? Like, Brijesh, let's start from you.
Well, that is a very interesting question. And if I look at the journey that I have been through myself, okay, I can associate with what you're saying. Okay, when I joined the industry, it was very clear that, okay, I'll join as a test engineer, then a senior test engineer, test lead, a senior test lead, test manager, senior test manager. maybe a director of testing, and then VP, and probably retire as a CTO, maybe. So that
Correct.
was kind of a roadmap. But then suddenly Agile came in, and there was a storm. So suddenly the experimentation started happening, and whenever there is experimentation, fortunately or unfortunately, it happens mainly with testers. Okay,
Correct.
and suddenly the testing roles disappeared. So there is no test lead, there is no test manager. Everybody's like, okay, what happens to my career? At the same time, when moving forward, DevOps came in, something similar happened. So
Correct.
while I'm saying all this, what I would also say is that there is no fixed roadmap, but there are diverse opportunities that has been created because of this kind of a situation. Now testers have the option of choosing either a technical track where they get into test automation, then go on to become test architects, like you said, an SDET, SDET 1, SDET 2, and then become an test architect. Or they want to stick to core testing, where they can go ahead and become a test coach, a test consultant, a test coach. Or they can also choose roles from within Agile. Okay, if they want to go for product management, product ownership, those options are also open. So what has essentially happened is that the career path has diversified because of all this. So if we look at it just as a straight career path, unlike development, yes, of course, it does not exist, but there are diverse opportunities that I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, even I have one point, but Shailesh, before that, let's start with you. Like, what do you think about? Do you agree with Brajesh that we have diversified role, but at the micro level, at the company level, as such, we don't see on paper. When
That
I'm
is
going to discuss with my engineering manager or my reporting manager at the time of appraisal, and most of the people they ask the question that, okay, I don't have the next role. Like, what is the next role? Like, what do you think about this?
Sure. Yeah. So I fully agree with what Brijesh has mentioned that, compared to what we have earlier, we do have those diversified role. You can be stuck on either automation or technical side or on DevOps, or you can be a test consultant and all. So that's good. So what I would suggest that go with your interest area, go with your expertise. If let's say you are focusing on to be a VP or let's say delivery director. So when you are a delivery director, you need to do so many management related things. If you are not that management person, you like to be on technical side, you may not be able to give your 100%. You won't be able to do the good things in that. So better be at the technical side. If you think that I'm good at the customer liaison, I'm good with customer advocacy and all, and you are going to VP role, which is fine. But on top of all these are roles. If I'm SD1 or SD2 or a senior consultant or principal consultant, whatever, don't look at the role. Look at what you are able to contribute in a project, in your organization, what you are able to do the value addition in that. If you are going to the next role, is there anything that change in your interest? Is there anything that you are pursuing, what you are aspiring? So instead of going for the title, go for what all things that you are going to perform, and that will
Correct.
really make a difference. That's what
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah, that absolutely agree with you. But let's go to Aparajita and Mukesh. Like, what do you think about? You both are doing a lot of things in terms of automation, and have you faced such kind of challenges when especially at a time of appraisal? Aparajita, let's start with you. That are you like confused at what is my next role? Where should I go? Like, you are at, let's say, SZ2 or SZ3. What will be the next role? Is it already defined, or what do you think about this opinion?
It used to be very well defined, like maybe 7 years back. I've stopped chasing titles, like as Shailesh said. Why? Because every company, first of all, has very different aspect of what an SDE2 looks like, right? My company might be very different from another company. Second, when people think of appraisal and when they think of promotion, they think, oh, when I get the next title, I'm going to get a higher salary, right? Those are two very different things. So you need to, if you want more salary, there are many ways of doing that. Okay. if you want a new title, is it because the title looks good in LinkedIn, or is it because you are interested in something you're seeing that person is actually doing, right? So say you're not working on Jenkins, you're seeing somebody working on CI/CD. That sounds interesting to you. Well, first go learn that, right? Then you're already within your company. If you go to your manager and you say, "Hey, boss, I want to learn CI/CD. I want to help," I don't think your manager is going to say no. But you need to first go and learn it. You need to put in some time. You need to put in some effort. And once you've done that, you've built some foundation, you are ready to take that responsibility and grow. The problem is people think I'll get promoted, then I will learn, and then I will deliver. It doesn't work that way, right?
Correct.
So you have to divide this into three things. Do you want money? Are you only looking for title, or are you actually interested in some specific technical area that you want to grow in? And as Brijat said, it doesn't even have to be something to do with QA, right? It could be anything that you are seeing in your company till the time you get that opportunity, right? So I would not put levels and appraisal at the same time. You have to think what you want to do and grow like that.
Yeah, in fact, that pattern I have seen in most of the European countries, and especially in US also. But if you see, Aparajita, that I totally agree with you. But if you see in India, the culture in India is slightly different. We have the people management is very strong area in most of the companies. So Mukesh, what do you think about it? You have worked with some really good companies like Dell, SAP Labs. What do you think that title really matters? Like after SZ3, I have to be a staff engineer, principal engineer, or it doesn't matter. I'm just learning my good stuff, technical stuff, new tools, technologies in my bucket, and keep adding it. But I'm not bothered about the title.
Yeah. So Naveen, this regarding title pass, as Rajita said, like it totally depends on the companies. Okay, so I would just want to share my experience. If you have seen the banking companies, right? Even if you're a guy with 8 plus 10 plus, they will make you AVP, okay, assistant vice president, or maybe VP directly. So day before yesterday, I was chatting with a guy who was VP, and I checked his profile. He was doing simple manual testing. Was asking some Jenkins related question. I was wondering why this VP is asking this Jenkins related question. Then I got to know in few companies they follow different titles, different fancy names, which looks good on the resume or good on the LinkedIn, but still the functional part is different. What exactly they're doing, it does not match with your current, I will say, title. So even if you see in my company, they have given me a fancy name, test automation expert, but if you see my payslip, I'm just a software developer in test 2, okay, or 3. Correct. So again, title is sometimes misleading. So what as Salesh mentioned, like if you are someone who love the technical part, the title or this fancy name should not matters to you. At the end of the day, you got the title. If you're not happy, again, that's a misleading part. So yeah, it keeps on changing based on the company you are. Let's say in Walmart, they follow as that 1, 2, 3, staff engineer 1, 2, 3. So title, I don't think it matters a lot. At the end of the day, skill matters.
Correct. Absolutely agree with you guys that. But yeah, I think Indian management or maybe the company management, they have to change this mindset that unnecessary too much hierarchy, unnecessary too much title. That I think doesn't make sense, because you are having a very heavy title and you don't know the things. You don't have anything in your bucket, and then that's totally different story altogether. Okay, so back to Srinivas and the Brijesh. I would like to know your opinion, guys. That we see that there is no scope for becoming a manager in Agile, or maybe like, is it really matter? Like, does it really matter that in Agile world, the manager thing should be there, or like we say that it's a self-dependent company or self-organized team over there. They can handle the things within a team. They don't need any manager. So Srinivas, what do you think about it? Do we really need a manager title, or you think at least one manager should be there?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Organizations, they're following this flat structure, many of them, but I still think there is some kind of like managers that are there. Like right now, the dev and QA, they are now one team. Most of the Scrum teams, dev and QA are in one team. And this one team is managed by one manager. They still have the managers. Most companies, at least my company, they all have the managers. And one from that team will ultimately grow into that role, that manager role.
Correct.
Who will be that person depends on, like, it can be anyone. It doesn't matter. So whoever is good at product knowledge, whoever is good at business, understand things, whoever has the high EQ, understands people, make them work the best, gets the best out of them, they will become the manager. I don't agree saying that, okay, there is no manager role now, path now for QA in Agile. It's like equal opportunity for everyone. Whoever is the best will go and grab that opportunity. Previously, we used to have a QA manager, dev manager, and whoever is good in QA, like they'll become the manager there and dev. Now, the competition might be a little more stronger, but if you're good, you're definitely, if you're good in if you understand the business, if you understand the product well, if you understand your customers well, if you understand your people, understand what a manager job is not easy. People think it has power. Someone said, like, with great power comes great responsibility. I think Fayaz or someone said. There's still opportunities are there, but it's like the best will get it. It can be anyone. That's what I think. Brijesh.
Brijesh, what do you think? Like, do we really need manager position, or like let's remove all the manager positions from the industry? What do you think?
Well, it will be wrong to say that there is no need for any managers.
Correct.
Let's accept that fact. Okay, we do need managers to manage stuff, but again, going back to the response of the previous question, and my fellow panelists, AP, Salish, they made it very clear that there is a distinction you have to make, and you have to understand between the role that you are in and the kind of value that you bring into your team. Okay, roles and titles will obviously keep on changing. And with respect to Agile also, the question that I get often is, oh, there is no test manager role in an Agile project. What do I do next? Well, it's very simple. Understand Agile. If you want to be a test manager, so my question obviously is, why do you want to be a manager as such? Is it because the manager title has a particular authority? Are you looking at authority? Are you looking at power? Are you looking at the ability to take decisions? If that is the case, then you are chasing the wrong target. What you should be looking at is building, trust within your team. What you should be looking at is in seeking happiness within the team. And if you choose trust and happiness, what will automatically happen is you will build a culture of trust within your Agile team, which is the basis of Agile. And there automatically you will get the respect that you are looking for. So, people may say, oh, this has got nothing to do with money or appraisal or the way, people are talking about it. This is kind of, superficial gyan, but it is not. I have gone through that myself. Okay, because of the transitions that we had, I saw the advent of Agile during my career. I saw how the position of test manager suddenly was wiped out from the position, from the map, from the roadmap. And then I was puzzled, what do I do next? But then when I said, okay, let me work towards building team culture. Now, people talk about DevOps. Suddenly companies put up titles such as DevOps engineer. In DevOps is basically culture. There cannot be a title DevOps engineer. It is so incorrect. But companies put that title. Now, if you are chasing that title, you are chasing the wrong thing. Understand the DevOps culture. Understand how it works. Upskill yourself. Make yourself capable. That's my perspective. And I completely agree with what Srinivas mentioned.
But don't you guys think that the manager is not about, taking the leadership kind of role, or maybe having that impact, or, that power, I want to take it. So let's take it in a positive way, that who will do the people management, who will do the KRS, who will do their appraisals, who will set up the company and the project culture, who will discuss with the different stakeholders and other people. You cannot give such responsibility to a dev or QA engineer, although they are working together in Agile world. But my question is that, what do you think? Like, do we really need one engineering manager at least, and forget about this separate QA or dev manager, and having one single engineering manager taking care of all such manager activities?
Well, Naveen, that is the reason why I said that we do need managers. Okay,
Hmm.
and instead of saying an engineering manager, because that one will again create confusion. Engineering roles are primarily associated with development guys in a lot of companies, so the
Hmm.
testers will again start feeling a little aloof. So what we
Hmm.
need are roles which are akin to people management. Okay, that is something that is getting wiped out. But if you look at it very closely, all the things that you mentioned are people issues, are related to people, their
Correct.
growth. So what we need is a good people manager. We
Hmm.
do need them. The roles are definitely required. We need people to understand what other people are going through, what they need in terms of career aspirations. What do they have? What are the skills that they possess, and where they need to grow? In which direction do they need to go?
Correct.
Okay. So you need somebody to guide. You need somebody to manage. So definitely there is a need. Yes.
Okay. So, but my question again, like to Soumya and maybe Shailesh, that what do you think? Like as a manager, do I really need to be that technical, or
Okay.
just as Brijesh said, okay, let's be basic people management skill. You should have it, and then you should know how to tackle the team. What about the technical skills? Let's see, after 12 years and 13 years, I become a manager. Do I really need to learn all the tools, technologies, and do I really need to write the code? What do you think about this? Soumya,
So
maybe you
I'll
can. Yeah.
Yes. So I'll just give you a different perspective of how the industry is now moving and how
Hmm.
people are thinking. And because I have worked with various companies and I've done consulting for a lot of companies, I see there are two roles which comes into the industry now. One is the technical management role and the non-technical management role. Believe
Hmm.
me, no manager, no company needs a non-execution resource. To be very frank,
Hmm.
earlier the concept of management is more of a people management, doing appraisals, looking at the delivery and what people can manage deliveries. In fact, 10-year guy can also manage delivery. So one aspect of the management is that that has now come is that you would always hear this, that and when you apply for a management role, they will say, I need 80% execution, hands-on, and 20% management. Right? What they need there is, you just need to manage resources. Okay, do their appraisals, see where are the pain points of the team, and then help. In terms of technology, right? And I would just quote what my fellow panelists said, is that if I talk about management as a career, like
Hmm.
the growth path in an organization is very limited. So what you basically do
Hmm.
is try seek opportunities and see where it can be applied. Like for an example, nowadays a lot of teams come to us and talk about how can we reduce cycle time. Okay.
Correct.
So my management or my manager or somebody who is doing the management should now understand how we can add value to the product by cutting down the cycle time. There is typical 2 to 4 weeks of cycle time still there in the QA, right? And then we want to release our product faster. How can it be done, right? With a manager who doesn't know technology will not be able to aid anything. So we just need that people management skills for some time,
Mhm.
and then the other things are technical. That's what I
So, Shanish, what do you think? Like a lot of people in the industry, if we say that, okay, old school managers, that time, no scope for automation, like 10 years back, who started career 10 years or 15 years back, and there was only one or two tools like a Windrunner, QTP, or maybe Load Runner. And that time they could not be involved. And now they cannot, you cannot say, okay, hey, after 15 years, learn Selenium suddenly. So, what do you suggest? Like, what should we do for those managers, or for those team leads, or for those test managers? What is the career path for them then?
Sure. So first of all, when we say that okay, there was limited tools and they have not learned those tools or something, or sometimes we may hear things like I'm a manual tester only. I have done only manual testings or something.
Mhm.
So when you are doing the manual testing, there are so many things on technology side that you need to understand. When you are working on a project, you need to understand the tech stack of your project. What all the technologies
Mhm.
it has used, because it really helps to test. There are so many things, like you need huge number of test data. Then how you have generated those test data? Have you done any innovative approach for that? All those things also comes as an automation and all. So automation is not only WinRunner or QTP or Selenium.
Correct.
It's a technical area. It is not only that certain tools which is in market, but it is something like how you have make your life easy, how you have added more value with that. So those managers who are in industry since 10 years, 15 years, if they have not upskills themselves, then they should start at some point of time. And there isn't any. What I believe is it's never late to learn anything. If someone is a college graduate and can learn something, then why a person with 15 years of rich experience cannot learn something? And at a manager level, at least you should have that understanding. If I'm a manager, I'm having 15-year experience and I'm a managing team where I have like 3 estate people or a 3 automation engineer. If I'm not able to understand what they are doing, I'm not able to create any roadmap for that because those technical hurdles are there. I cannot make the timely delivery. I cannot even control the my cost, or I cannot I can manage my schedules. So
Correct.
when we say technical manager, it's not about that you should always able to do the coding or hands-on or something, because being a manager, there are so many responsibilities that you need to perform. You cannot always do that. As Soumya told, that 80%, 20% things, always things will be there, but you should be able to understand. You should be able to participate in the discussion. You should be able to make your opinion. Okay, this is the right thing we need to do.
Correct.
It should
Exactly.
be logic. That's what I believe.
Naveen, can I
Yeah,
just
perfect.
add one last thing?
Sure, Brajesh. Yeah.
So I did say that, yeah, we need people, we need managers to resolve people issues. Because if you look at a granular level, most issues that happen are people issues. Indeed, if you look very closely. From a technology perspective, it does help. It does help a great deal if the manager knows technology, understands what the team is doing, because only then he or she will be able to get or feel the pain of the team, okay, or understand what the customer is actually expecting, and relay back and forth between the team and the customer. And
Correct.
in the response to your very first question, my fellow panelists mentioned the need for upskilling. So the upskilling thing is not limited to testers at a certain experience range. It is very much applicable to people who are seeking management roles. If you do not upskill yourself in technology, you are going to be left out, no matter whether you are at a 2-3 years experience range or at a 15-20 years experience range. You will be left out. So yes, the knowledge of technology is important. Yes, management skills are also important. And like my fellow panelists have said, that it is very important for some people to understand that, as a manager, what are you seeking? So Soumya is right that the companies, the organizations are not asking for 100% people manager. They are asking for technical roles. There is another aspect to it, because companies are also looking to save cost. And by
Correct.
having two roles combined into one, they save a lot of money. That is the truth. But the
Yeah.
bottom line is that people should constantly be upskilling themselves and learning
Absolutely.
technology.
Exactly. I totally agree with both of you that I totally understand your point of view as well. What I feel that, for example, let's say in a big account, and let's take an example of any service-based company where we have a big account, any fintech account that we have, and 400 people are working. As I think Gaurav is also mentioned in the comment section, that I hire one IIM Ahmedabad guy, and then he's a MBA graduate, and he knows the things. He knows that how to talk to different stakeholders, how to make money out of it, how to deliver the things on time, how to handle 400 different people, how to set up their goals and responsibilities and everything. So in that case, I really don't think so that that too much knowledge about the technical skills are really required. I think company would look for definitely for the more manager or people management kind of a skill set, where, and for other things we have architect kind of role. That's why we have always a 2 career path, that maybe a technical architect path and then the complete manager path. And if you have the knowledge about both the things, then that's totally well and good in that case. Okay, I think that's really good.
Naveen, I just have one last point here. As
Yeah,
Brajesh said, and your point I want to combine. Let's say you said like you should have a manager should have the people skill. But as Brajesh mentioned, as if that person have the technical skill plus people skill, then they can connect with their employees easily. Okay, let's say you have a resource and that particular resource struggling from last 5 days with a small integration. For you, just a hardly 5 minutes of task. Okay,
Mhm.
but for that person it's a kind of a stress that he's not able to do this small task. So now if you're a technical guy and now you're the manager, so now you can connect easily his pain, what he's going through. So at least you
Correct.
can guide him like this is how you can you can connect with these guys on LinkedIn, or maybe you can follow this, or maybe you try this approach. So I guess little technical plus even though as Brijesh mentioned, he should not be the coding expert, but little bit technical knowledge will always help to connect better with the employees.
Correct. Okay, let's move to the next question. We'll start with Aparajita now. That a lot of hype is there in the market about AI, machine learning, and then a lot of people they ask me, although I don't have that much experience, I never explored that particular area with respect to AI and ML. What do you think that? Like, do you believe that AI in testing is happening somewhere, or some projects are going on in the market, like with respect to machine learning and auto healing of the locators and everything? Or what do you think that if I really want to move from QA role to AI role or a data science role, something like this, is it really a good option? I think you are working in that particular area, so I think a lot of people were asking about this thing as well. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, AI and ML has existed for a long time. It is not something that just happened all of a sudden yesterday, right? It just dropped out of a time machine and people started working on AI or ML. So it has existed. We do work on it. It's not so. I want to clarify. I think every time somebody thinks about AI, they think about like a robot and a Terminator with like a gun, and they're ready to do something really wrong. Or it's not like that. Right now, AI and ML is very small. It's primarily
Mhm.
used for modeling purposes, right? For predictions,
Correct.
things like that.
Correct.
It's very small. Can you get into AI? Yes, absolutely you can. Who's stopping you? Tell me. Like, is somebody standing in front of you and saying you cannot enter AI? Right? There's nothing like that.
Mhm.
There are enough courses out there that you can read. There are books out there that you can read to learn about it. As a QA, I think if you are a good tester, you'll be curious about things. At least I am curious about things. So if
Mhm.
you want to learn about something, go read about it, understand it, right? It's like going
Mhm.
in the dark when you're scared from it. And eventually you'll realize it's not that complicated. There
Mhm.
are pieces of AI and ML which are very like the algorithmically driven. Okay,
Mhm.
so when you're actually working on a model or a machine learning algorithm, it is not just coding. It becomes a little bit more complicated. You have to understand um, different things. You'll have to understand where this is getting applied, right? What type of data is going to be used, what type of statistical model will be the best model for this. So there are many aspects to it. But
Correct.
can you start learning? Absolutely. Will you have a job as a QA if AI
Mhm.
is here? I think we've already covered this, right? Like 15 years ago when I started, the only
Correct.
automation tool that I knew about was QTP, right?
Mhm.
And it used to be such a big deal. And now look where we have come. Like, did you have microservices 15 years ago? No. Did you have Jenkins 15 years ago? No. So AI is just another opportunity. If you want to survive with it, don't be scared of it, learn. And if a vendor comes and tells you they'll fix everything in your test automation, they're just talking crap. It does not work like that. So get a little bit of a demo. There are good aspects of AI bots. I've used them, but it is
Mhm.
not like it'll heal everything and you don't need
Mhm.
any person sitting there guiding it. It doesn't work like that. We are not there
Correct.
yet. So
And
first,
one of the stupid thing that you will hear from the market, that in fact I was watching news. I don't know from which channel, and there was a technical blog was coming in and was saying that AI will delete. I mean, remove all the jobs from the market after a couple of years. The machine learning models are coming, the bots are coming, they will do the testing, and robots are coming. You must have heard about those rumors, right? A couple of years
of
back they
course,
started, and again they started again in okay. So what do you think about this? Like this, all these nonsense, and and suddenly people are talking to me and mailing me that, okay, hey Naveen, that do I really need to learn about testing and Selenium and other stuff, because after 5 years robots are coming and they will vanish all the jobs.
So I believe Naveen, the metrics age is not to be there soon. It would take some time. We are all part of metrics. Okay, it would come, it would come, but not now. Okay, so I just want to add something what Aparajita has mentioned. Auto healing of locators and all. Believe me, I have done that. Okay, but it is not 100% correct. Okay, it's like it will be 60% accurate to you. Okay, but what is the benefit of doing this is that you are cutting down cycle time somewhere. Okay, by not allowing manual touch points. Okay, we need to always believe in removing those manual touch points and see where we can save time. Okay, so I would always in fact, if I did one use case with a lot of companies where I've analyzed logs. There are unstructured data. Every time you analyze logs, you basically get to understand that if you have executed say hundreds of tests, there are hundreds of exceptions that are coming in your code, right? What you do is you basically analyze those logs, go back, and then restructure your test and then again start. So there you can use common sense. People talk about AI, but then it's all mostly on common sense, and we would have done this in our past like 10 years back.
Correct. I totally agree. Like, at least I would always say that, okay, guys, why are you asking this question? That you are into a technical field, you are a software engineer, at least use your common sense. That will it really happen that after 5 years, some robot will do the testing for your application, or some magic will happen over the night, and then something will like that. Or if some AI models are coming, that definitely systems will be there, some development teams will be there. And same time, you have to do the testing for those models as well with a different set of data. So then it's really difficult sometimes to, make sure that people are getting the things that, what do you mean by these robots and these AI models are coming? Anyway, so move to the next question.
Naveen, just one more thing that I wanted to add to what Soumya said. From a testing perspective, there is often a question, and you're absolutely right. I also have read a couple of pieces which claimed that AI will wipe out testing. Okay, testing will be done by robots. Testing will be 100% automated. I mean, testers think critically. When are we going to see machines thinking critically? When are we going to see machines actually questioning the product that testers do? Okay, if that happens someday, then you can probably start thinking about testing getting wiped out by AI or ML. That's one thing. And the second thing, again, going back to Soumya's point, in my experience also, a lot of people, what they claim to be as AI is basically common sense. And when we talk about testing, there is a lot of engineering that is involved in it. So, and most of us by default have engineering degrees. Why can't we apply engineering principles to the work that we are doing to solve those problems, rather than going into the market looking at AI, ML to solve your problem? I mean, apply common sense. Apply engineering principles. That's it. That's all I wanted to add.
I just wanted to add one more
I also
point.
want to add.
In my last organization, I'm sorry, Mukesh. Believe me, I have worked with robotic arm, which actually can press ATM keys. I work with an ATM organization, and we have interface. So believe me, robots can work. Okay, so that's another.
That's absolutely.
But Soumya, you tested it, didn't you?
You tested it,
right?
You
tested it, right?
It didn't just work, right?
No, robot did not test itself. You tested it, right?
Yeah, but the thing is that when the test never used to run, like the robotic arm will come back to us and look at us, like come on, what you guys are doing. So
okay, I'll move to the next question, guys. That Mukesh. So a lot of freshers are coming, the college grads are coming, and then they could not get placed in some company, and they're really interesting. They see that, okay, these days a lot of people are, the testing is now really popular in the market, and a lot of companies are hiring. And in fact, every company, they are hiring testers, automation engineers. So what do you think for a fresher? A lot of people are asking that, okay, how should I start my career as a fresher in testing? What should I learn? Where should I, see the resources to learn the testing things? What do you suggest about
Okay.
that?
Yeah, so now, first of all, I'm very glad to see now people are showing interest in testing too. Because if you talk about 10 years back, when we were in college, we used to think, okay, only the development. If you are not a developer, you are a waste. You are just a support
I
guy
still
who
hear
will
this
just,
thing.
yes,
That's still
exactly.
there.
Yeah, still, but now since we have little awareness, now people know that there's something called testing, automation testing, robotic process automation. So at least they are familiar with this now. So when I talk about freshers, for them again, it's those who don't love coding that much, but still they love a little bit of the coding part. For them, I guess the automation is the right candidate where they can still get into the IT easily with testing mindset. And as usual, as we know that we will not be the automation guy from the day one, even though
Mhm.
they are coming from automation point of view. First, they have to understand the testing practices, testing process, and then they can move to automation. So for freshers, again they have a very good career path if you follow this little, I will
Mhm.
say, gracefully, with proper, I will say, knowledge. If they start, I have seen people, okay, those who have 5+ and 4+, but they have a very good head salary, better than developers and better than other candidates. So when it comes to career path, salary part, like this is a very good path for the automation guys, or even for the, I will say, the complete testing part, not in the automation.
Yeah, thanks, Mukesh. Thanks for a quick response. So let's move to the next question. We'll start with
And
Shailesh.
Naveen, one more thing. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
want
sure.
to add the one more point in the last question, what Aparajita said. Like if somebody's interested in ML and AI, they can get the training and they can get started. But yeah, I have seen a lot of companies. Okay, I don't want to take the big giant names, but it's a marketing gimmick basically. They're charging 3 lakhs for 1 year of course, and trust me, after getting, I will say, the 1 year of diploma, 2 years, they just have 3 or 4 use cases, and that is also not real time use cases.
Yep.
So guys, in case if you're really interested with this buzzwords AI ML, still if you want to explore, but do some research, don't spend your hard earned money, 3 lakhs into just 1 year of course. Okay,
Correct.
and so
Yeah,
do not fall into this marketing trap. Okay, be little careful, as Aprajita said and Soumya said. It's and Bridget also mentioned. Sometimes it's common sense. Okay, what exactly am I? Am I? It's all about the data set. The more data set you have, the more good models you will be building. So
perfect.
just wanted to highlight that. Please don't fall into this marketing trap. Don't spend
Sure.
so much hard money on this.
Great. Thanks, Mukesh. Thanks for highlighting this point as well. So we'll start with Shailesh and Srinivas now. The next question is that I want to move from QA to Scrum Master, right? So is it a good career path, or it's I don't want to use any statement here that like some people say that, okay, what is the role of Scrum Master? What exactly this person is doing? He just taking care of the Jira dashboard, and that's it. So what do you think? Like, I want your honest opinion. Let's start with Srinivas and then move to Shailesh.
Um, yeah, definitely. Like many are exploring it, not just one. I have seen many QA because QA inherently, apart from the testing automation, they also think of improvements, constantly think of improvements, process improvements, improvement in tooling, improvement in the product. That's majorly one responsibility of Scrum Master. He should constantly think of how can I make my team
Mhm.
do better. And they also shield the team. They shield the team. That's what Scrum Master do. They make sure we are getting the best out of it. They protect it from, like, product owners and all will push things out, but Scrum Master is the one who says, like, okay, this is what
Correct.
we can do, this is what we can do, these are the things we can do for improvement and all. Product owner mindset is about, okay, feature after feature.
Correct.
But Scrum Master,
Correct.
they will come back, work with team and say, like, okay, now we have this improvement. If I do it, like, I can do 2 features next time instead of 1 feature. I can save a lot of time here. So it matches somewhere, but not everyone can do it. I tried it. I thought it's easy. Each one has its own challenge. Not It's not like Scrum Master is the easiest job that you can do. Oh, it has its own challenges, its own things, and I didn't like it. I just tried it. I tried many things. I tried PO, I tried Scrum Master, and RTE, Release Train Engineer. That's the safe word. But definitely some liked it. They said, "Oh, yeah, it's somewhat related. Nothing. It's kind of more of process thing. I like it. I can do it." And they have many other opportunities there on the project manager, business analyst, but they should be good at product. And then I think that's a good role, but not suitable for everyone.
Correct.
It's not like I don't have a manager role, I'll try Scrum Master. They'll utterly fail if they do that.
So, moving to Shailesh, like, is it really needed? You are doing great in QA. So, in which case, like, I should go to Scrum Master role, like, or the next question, the same question is that the extended question is that what is the QA like career path for Scrum Master? Like, where do you see yourself after a couple of years in a Scrum Master? If you or you think that okay, no, anyone can become a Scrum Master?
Right. Just going back to the first question that whether I should move to the Scrum Master or not. So the question is why you want to move to Scrum Master. So you know about that role and that is what aspiration, or it is like everyone are just going to the Scrum Master. It's like ये बहुत scope है. Let's go to the Scrum Master. So it's like that, or it is like in QA I need to learn DevOps or automation or various things and all, and I don't want to do that. Scrum Master is the person who just need to manage the Jira, but that's not the thing. Scrum Master self come with a lots of different responsibilities. While Srinivas was just talking about Scrum Master, what came in my mind was like, if you, a traditional Indian wedding, if you see, it's not like 5 years, 10 years back. So people are doing, when you go for like in the wedding, when you go for lunch or dinner and all, people are like doing some work. Someone is serving sweet, someone is serving water. So someone is just setting the dishes, and also setting up dishes is easy job than serving the sweet and all. But there is one person or two person who is just taking care of this. Look, do that, do this, bring this thing. So when I'm just serving the sweet, I'm all fighting because I'm in huge demand. When that person is doing, let's do this, let's do that. So it feels like it's a very easy job. Why he is not coming and serving the sweet? But when I when I went to that particular role, then I come to know, okay, it's really difficult because I need to take care of everything. I cannot make anyone unhappy. I want to make everyone happy. Be it a person who is having lunch, be it a person who is serving and all. So there is a difference in every role. You need to first understand what is the importance of that role, what is the actual job role. It's not only about the managing Jira and taking a morning Scrum team. And if the Scrum Master is doing only those things, he is not a Scrum Master actually.
Correct.
So he is just acting as a Scrum Master. So
yeah, maybe some people are getting maybe wrongly inspired in the company. I have seen the Scrum Master, they are frankly speaking that they are not doing anything. In fact, if you see the Scrum guideline also, the latest 2020 guideline, the guide that you see, that they have clearly mentioned, they have in fact increased the role for the Scrum Master. Now they are more responsible. They have to talk to different stakeholders. They have as Srinivas mentioned, that if your PO or your product manager is pushing for the feature, you have to control the team. You have to make a good team environment over there. So that is the main importance role for the Scrum Master. But maybe some Scrum Master, they are just not doing that stuff job. And then maybe some people, they really think that, especially in QA, that, okay, yeah, let's move to the Scrum Master and it's so a relaxing job. I just need to take care about the, the Netagiri kind of role and then just go for it and then do that. So yeah, Brijesh, you want to add something?
Yes, Naveen. So this question is actually very close to my heart because I have answered this so many times. So there are two aspects to it. Okay, one is how the company has, what kind of expectation has the organization set up, which comes from the understanding of Agile and Scrum within the organization. Now, Agile and Scrum have been so badly misunderstood and misimplemented. Everyone seems to have their own implementation. People haven't read the Agile Manifesto. People don't care about the Scrum Guide. Okay, everybody has their own interpretation. The moment you start talking about Agile, people will start talking about Scrum. They don't understand that both of them are separate. Agile is more of a mindset and Scrum is more of a framework. You cannot compare one with the other. Now, coming to the role of a Scrum Master, because it's a Scrum Master, people think, oh, it is a role where, I can be the boss. And in a lot of companies, the way they have implemented is they have made project managers be Scrum Masters. So when younger lot, when they look up to their seniors, oh, this guy does nothing. He just changes the priority in Jira and he is done. He just stands there in daily Scrum, say, oh, what's your status update? The daily Scrum is also, it's like a chit chat meeting where people give their status and get away. The problem begins with the understanding of the Scrum concepts itself. So if you want to aspire or if you want to grow into a Scrum Master role, then what seriously needs to be done is you need to understand what a Scrum Master actually does. A lot of companies have, two roles combined into one: a developer acting as a Scrum Master, a tester acting as a Scrum Master, which is very wrong in my opinion. Not just wrong, but absolutely wrong. This is the most bizarre thing to do. Scrum Master is a full-time role. Being a Scrum Master is a very, very important job. You have to facilitate each and every activity. At times when the team is stuck, when there is no test environment available, who makes it available? It is the job of a Scrum Master to chase people. When you have a resource crunch, who is there to make sure that there are enough resources available with the team? It is a Scrum Master's job. It is not like, okay, administering Jira and I'm done. People need to understand this very carefully. So if you want to switch to a Scrum Master role, have a clear understanding of that. Number two, Naveen, you pointed it out very rightly, where you said, okay, what is the growth path after Scrum Master? What next? Are you able to get into that mode and start thinking, okay, maybe after this, if I develop understanding of Scrum, then I understand the other frameworks also, for example, Kanban, for example, Lean, so that I can grow and become an agile coach or a mentor. Okay. But again, that ties back to the kind of roles that organizations have. Organizations don't have roles as they may have an agile coach, for example, but beyond that, they don't have designations, and people always look for designations. So the growth path is very limited. So think very carefully. Then suddenly people will say, oh, if I have become a Scrum Master, then why can't I become a product owner? Now that is again a separate role. People need to understand that also. Okay. And this requires a change of mindset of being a servant leader. You have to have that serving mindset. Even if you have to get coffee for your fellow teammates to make sure that nobody is getting tired, you have to do that job. Are we willing to do that? No, at least in the Indian culture. Oh, why should I do it? I have seen managers get coffee for the rest of the team. The CEO walk up with coffee to the rest of the team because that culture is there. So that this cultural transition is also important. So, just to summarize, you have to understand the role better. You have to understand the culture better. And then you have to be very judicious, not because somebody is the Scrum Master and he's chilling out, then I should also do it. That's a very wrong concept.
Great. Absolutely agree. So let's move to the next question. Start with Soumya and Srinivas. You guys, Soumya, you especially coming from the development background, and Srinivas, I have seen your talks and everything. You have done a lot of good work in DevOps area, like Jenkins and CI/CD pipelines and Terraform and everything. So what do you think? Like, if I really want to become, a DevOps engineer, I want to move my career from DevOps to QA automation to DevOps. Like, is it really helpful? Like, automation will really help me in that particular area if I really want to become a complete SRE engineer or completely move to DevOps area?
So, yeah, I can take that. I'm reading through the questions. I think at least 50% are on DevOps. There is a lot of interest around. Definitely, like before I said, like there'll always be opportunities opening up. If you think like, okay, I have done enough in QA, can I try something different? DevOps is one kind of opportunity I think that came up. Okay. Sorry, did you lost me for a second or all okay? Okay, DevOps is one kind of opportunity that came up. Just like I tried it. I tried every tool that's there right now, starting from Packer, Ansible, Terraform, Serverspec, Chef, all the tools. I did my hands-on. I really liked. They are like very powerful tools, but if you don't know what you're doing, they are like very dangerous too. You don't know what you're doing. So you should know. It gives you a lot of power. I can just provision my whole infrastructure as code, and then I can do my testing. I can do everything. It's like you can do all things on your own. So that's definitely a good career path. DevOps similar to QA, that I'll say. It's similar to QA, and you can be like, there's more things there. You can become a site reliability engineer. That's coming up right now for the DevOps. That's the next thing. So there's some good opportunities that's coming up there. I'll definitely ask teams to try it out. If you want to try, you might like it or not like it. That's depends on you. If you like it, tools and like the power of doing things, trying out different tools. Like when my company is trying DevOps, I say like, oh, who tests this? They're saying code. I say, but I tell my team, all code is guilty until proven innocent. So now you are like provisioning your infrastructure as code. Who is testing it? So I looked at tools, Serverspec, Gauss, Inspec. Okay, this looks very good. So we're implementing them. So lot of exciting things there. Lot of exciting things. If you have missed these trains, like Selenium train, I missed it. If you are catching Cypress train, try out this one. Try this train and see if you like it. If not, there'll be another train coming tomorrow. Right.
Sure. Yeah.
I wanted to.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I wanted to give a different perspective here. Okay. What I believe is that people should first understand what is DevOps and what is infra. Because people have this really bad habit of understanding infra as DevOps, which is not. What we are trying to do here is, one, you need to understand, as Brijesh said in the last talk, is that DevOps is a methodology. It's not. It's a process. It's not something which is like automation, right? It's different from automation. Now, what I wanted to say is that a good DevOps engineer can lead to a good site reliability engineer, which is an infra part, right? So, but if an automation engineer wants to career shift and want to say that, like for an example, I know how to write frameworks, I know design patterns, I know everything, all the tools, what's next for me? You can actually move to DevOps, because testing in DevOps, you can then understand the entire pipeline, go shift left, shift right, okay, and then understand your code quality, code coverage. People don't talk about code quality, code coverage, okay. I believe code coverage is something that needs to be absolutely important in the DevOps pipeline. And then starting about how an artifact is built, then you need to understand the build tools. You may need to store it somewhere. You may need to have an artifactory, and then you may need to deploy it to somewhere else. Then you may need to understand Docker, Kubernetes, and Chef, Puppet, Ansible, those kind of tools. Then you want to monitor it. You may need to know New Relic or Datadog and some kind of a tools. There are so many tools available which basically orchestrate a package out of the dev side to the ops side. And what we need to realize here is that we need to make a release faster, right? So DevOps is all about making your release faster, and it's not about infra. Infra is something else. AWS is something else. Your architecture is something else. DevOps is to just making sure that we are releasing things faster. So what I believe is that a good, successful, and person who has good mindset towards automation can move to a DevOps role. But all these tools need to be understood well, because as Srinivas sir has mentioned, that it can damage and it can damage really heavily. So you need to understand, how to deploy, where to deploy, and then, obviously the infra side is little there because you need to deploy on the servers. So you should know how to do that. But that's my take on the DevOps piece. Okay.
Naveen?
Yeah, sure.
I have a cross question for audience. Like for the past 1 hour, we've been talking about different paths that QA people can take. What are all these things that we can do? at the end of the day, it comes back to the same thing. Do you really understand what this other side of the land, why is it so green? Right? Why does Scrum Master look so better than QA or DevOps look so? I think it comes down to you need to go and understand what really that role is, not necessarily how it's implemented in your company, right? And second, really understand more on the process and why people are doing that versus the tools. Because right now you could have X, Y, and Z tool. 2 years later, it's going to get replaced by something else.
Correct.
This is even true for testing, right? So you can go and learn Selenium today, and you think I'm a Selenium expert, but if you don't know how to test, what is good automation practices, what to test, what to automate, what not to automate, you're not going to be able to transfer that knowledge elsewhere, right? So it's not always about tools. I think everybody here who's been in testing, you have to first understand the basic concepts. Go back to your testing guidelines, apply those testing guidelines to these questions, and you'll probably have a better answer to most of these questions that we're asking.
Exactly. I think perfectly. I think very well, Pranjita.
Naveen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mukesh, go
So
ahead, please.
as Srinivas mentioned that 50% of the comment are coming from the DevOps. The reason is because once you have 10 years or 8 years, you explode everything from the testing side. You explode API, mobile. You performed almost everything. Now what is next? So now they think that DevOps. If you see the DevOps cycle, test is just one part of that DevOps, right? So I think they can relate easily. Yeah, exactly. So they fit into this role. So this is also again a big myth that we should take this again in our discussion. Like after once you're done with automation, then what should be your next step? Okay, is it like DevOps or is it like you have to? Yeah, go ahead, Naveen.
That is the next question, starting with Mukesh only. That
Okay.
in fact, one of the persons asking also on the LinkedIn that please ask from the panel that what should I do after 10 years? Like I have explored everything. I have explored APM, Selenium, mobile, Cypress, backend, API, everything. Now what next? What should I do? Like what should I do after 10 years? To survive in testing and to survive in test automation or whatever you call that. Which tool technology, where should I go in that case? Mukesh, maybe we can start from you.
Okay. No, so maybe I will take in two different paths. So one path, like say, I don't want to explore more. I just want to be the automation consultant. Okay. Let's say if I'm joining Bridges organization, then I will be the one guy who will be, leading the team, who will guiding the testing team. This is how it has to be. Okay. So I should be the person who can not only can contribute only in the functional automation, because right now, if you see, people still have this mindset that functional automation, then only the automation that we need to take care. But when you go for a say architect role, you have to be good in both sides, functional and non-functional. Okay, they can't hire another guy for the non-functional. Okay, that this is the architect for the functional, this is the architect for non-functional. So once you are done with that, okay, you're very good in functional, non-functional as well. And still, if you think now you're done with automation, then I guess the closest path to me, which even I am planning for the DevOps. Okay, because it fits with I will say the cycle that we follow. But as Soumya mentioned again, that we need to be a little careful and that because you need to understand the complete process. Okay, it's not about DevOps that build, deploy, and test. Okay, you need to understand that it's a full, I will say, the release process. If something goes wrong, again, you will, or I will say the DevOps guy have the big part in the release cycle. So there are two paths, as I mentioned, either go with the current automation architect, I will say the expert who can lead a team, who can lead a set of teams. And in a couple of companies, they have this team called Central of Automation, right?
Correct.
Where automation team is there and they will be giving, I will say, the knowledge of KT, or they will be enabling other teams to do the automation. So if you want to stick to automation, this is one of the path. But if you are just bored of automation, sort of so many tools, like as Srinivas mentioned, that so many tools, right? Cypress is coming, Selenium is coming. So a lot of tools. If you don't want to get into this trap, you can again start exploring another set of tools, which is again from the build side, from the deployment side, for the monitoring side. So again, the more you go out of this key automation role, you will have a different mindset again. So
correct. Absolutely,
it's two paths. It's totally up to them which they want to follow.
Moving to Brijesh, I would like to add the same, like one more thing in the same question. I know you have some points to to clear it out. So I have a question that I have spent 10 years in the industry. as a functional tester, I have never done any automation. Did I do a big mistake in my career, in my life? So what should I do now after 10 years? So please cover this question as well.
Okay. So I first want to add, in fact, both the questions, there is one common answer that I want to give. Okay. And the answer is just 3 words that somebody has to pay attention to. Those 3 words are skill, aspiration, and passion. Evaluate what your current skill level is. What are the things that you currently know? Understand what your aspirations are. And your aspirations are your aspirations, not because somebody else has achieved something that you also want to achieve that. Do you have the skill to achieve what you desire to achieve? Have an understanding of that. And I think within, if you have spent 10 years in the industry, you should have the wisdom to see, okay, what you are actually planning to do. Like, previously, a lot of panelists, we have been talking about different options, different paths. So if you think that you have an aspiration of becoming a CTO someday, then choose that path that will lead you towards that CTO role. And 10 years is a good enough point to do that introspection, to understand where you want to go. The third word that I had after skill and aspiration is passion. How passionate are you about the thing that you are looking for? Okay, if you do it superficially, then there is no point. Now, to answer your question specifically, that okay, 10 years I have done functional testing. Did I miss the boat because I did not learn automation? Well, it's never too late. The answer is simple. It's never too late. Well, first, also understand what automation does. Okay, automation, the understanding a lot of people have is, okay, I have to convert some, I'm using the word manual tests to automation tests. Well, this is the common understanding that a lot of people have. The scope of automation in testing is way beyond that. In one of the talk shows where Soumya presented, and he spoke about something very simple. Okay, in Excel, when you apply a formula to add 2 numbers, that is also automation. Can you not start from that basic understanding about automation and build your skill set in order to achieve greatness towards whatever you are trying to do? Understand that, okay, you could write simple shell scripts to do a lot of magic to create test data, to aid your testing, to build the test environment, to make sure that your test environment is getting configured properly. All of this you can do using code, and it is very, very easy to do that. So if you have done functional testing for 10 years, I'm not using the word manual testing, but that is the common understanding, because people these days use functional testing because they don't want to use manual testing. But the common understanding is that. So if you've done 10 years of that, and if you're still puzzled about what to do next, it is never too late to understand that, okay, there is a little bit of automation that I can do. Now, again, like I said, what is your skill level? What is your aspiration? What is your passion? If you are not thinking, or if you do not like automation, yeah, there are some people who are, who do not like, because of whatever reasons, because of a fear, because of lack of interest, because of lack of motivation, because of the challenges that they may face. There may be multiple reasons of not liking it. It is fine. Try and understand that there is still a lot of scope, because you have so much functional knowledge of doing functional testing for 10 years, you can possibly become a subject matter expert. So understand the domain, understand the product, understand the sector, the industry for which you have been working for. Develop an understanding there. Okay, understand the context. Yeah, so
yes, right, Brijesh. That I have seen people who are actually really good working with JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley and some really good fintech company, and they got the domain expertise, and now they the people and the companies are running behind them because they understand the product very well, and they don't need any rock star in automation. They need good expertise in that particular domain specific thing.
I know of a couple of people who are working in the life sciences sector. They've been working there for 15 years. they have not written a single automation test. But they are the most sought after people because they understand the life sciences domain like nobody else does. They are the experts. And why? Because they have been testing all this while. They are very passionate testers. So, yeah, that's a given, right?
Yeah.
So, if you develop an understanding there, you can grow.
Great. I hope that now people having that better understanding. I have another question about that on the testing itself. That start with the Shailesh, and then I'll go to Srinivas and Aparajita also. Uh, Mix kind of questions like, is testing a low profile? You must be getting these questions, right? That okay, I started my career 12, 13 years back. That time also that my cousin brother said that okay, hey, you are going to testing is a low profile. It's like you won't get job, you won't get that money, you won't. That's a very low profile kind of job. Second thing is that my package about the CTC that the testers generally QA testers will get a less package as compared to a dev. Is it a myth? So we'll start with Srinivas because you are the more experienced person in the panel. So what do you think about it? So testing is really a low profile kind of stuff.
Just to say, like, no, I don't like this question, but I'm married for 19 years now, so totally toned down. It's like, if you have asked me 15 years back the same question, it would have been different.
Yes.
What is low profile? If we take different industries, healthcare, manufacturing, can you say what is low profile? Is there a low profile? It's like I did this like few years back. I said I will hire MTechs from artificial intelligence from reputed universities. I'll hire PhDs in testing, and I hired them. I will give you the LinkedIn profiles. Any one of you guys, like Naveen has my number. You can also ask him to talk to me. I can talk to you. I have hired them. They joined. Why will they join if it's a low profile? A PhD guy, a MTech guy who has done his MTech in artificial intelligence from Hyderabad, the university, which is very reputed here. I have hired many that just to show that why do people think it's low profile? There is no low profile. It's like think of the Padma awards that government gives. Will they say I will only give it to high profile jobs and not like who are doing good things in for the society, for the environment? There is nothing low profile. I don't know what low profile means. And if you are not getting good salary, a MTech guy, a PhD guy won't join testing.
So why will they? Just to clear it out, low profile means you won't get that respect in the team, in the project, in the company, as compared to dev people are, getting it. But
respect depends on your work, on your value. Nothing to do with the profile. There is nothing to do with the profile. There are devs I absolutely hate. There are QA I absolutely hate because I don't respect them because they don't bring any value. It's the same for every function, HR or IT. I don't respect them because they don't bring in value. And I highly respect some of the QA. They can do anything. Just throw them stuff, containers, anything. They can just do it for you. I highly respect them. So respect comes from the work, the value, but not the job that you do. Anywhere. It's not IT. It's like go out. Who do you respect? Whoever is doing some good things, some value.
Can I just add one sentence, Naveen? Can I just add one sentence? There is a total experience of close to 100 years in this panel. It would not have existed if it was a low profile job. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Perfect. So Shailesh, what do you think about the CTC part? The package, the money matters a lot, no doubt about it, right? We say that, okay, yeah, the passion we have to follow. Let's not look into the money part. And we have this myth. For me, it's totally myth because I know a lot of people, they have really good package as compared to dev. What do you think? Is it really like true that the QA people will have the less package as compared to dev? Because I've seen the people are just doing a blunt statement that, okay, let's not go into the QA. You are not getting enough money, and it's a very low profile or less package job as compared to dev.
So I would say it's not a myth at all. Sometime it's true also that QA is low profile, low salary, etc. But Now the thing is, who decide the profile, whether it's a low profile or high profile? How you say that? Just because your words matter, it's a high profile. If your words doesn't matter, it's a low profile within your team. And there is one bitter truth that I would like to share with everyone. As per my experience, I have seen that. I mean, there are so many such testers I have seen. Like there is a form with 10 different fields, all have mandatory value. All the fields are mandatory, and it is allowing blank value. He or she will raise 10 different issues for that. Or there are some testers who like to reject the bill and then just roam around. I have rejected bill because I got a blocker issue in my sanity test. Or there will be a person who will always do all the UI checks and not go beyond that and will do all this explanations and all. At the end of the day, delivery is more important than quality. Because that is where we get our bread and butter. Now, if you are such kind of person, then your opinion, your words won't matter a lot. But you are I have seen other tester who has a very good knowledge about the whole project, each and every part. So people actually dependent on him. Developer used to go to that person. Okay, what should be the expected behavior when I do that? So I will make my code accordingly, because he is the person who has knowledge, and tester is a person who has we should have that particular knowledge of the application, well understanding about the system, should be a critical thinking, and the most important thing, that is a test crafting. You should have that particular ability or not, right? Don't only think about all the buzzword and all. How good you are with test crafting. If you have all this quality, I bet you will never be any low profile. I bet you will always be one of the star performer within your team, within your organization. You will get a good salary in your organization or any other organization. When someone asks a question on the interview, are you able to really give good answer on those practical scenarios? If someone tell you that, okay, I have this particular domain and what will be your strategy, are you able to strategize that on the go? So that's a bitter truth. We need to come out of that particular silo. We need to first think, okay, what I need to do, what's my job, and then we can say that whether it's a low profile or high profile. So yeah, it's not a myth, but we have just created such impression sometimes.
Yeah. So I'll move to Mukesh quickly. That Mukesh, what do you think that when I'm a fresher and then I have two career paths, either I should go for the dev and as a QA. So what will be the deciding factor? Because as a fresher, like I really don't know anything what is happening in the industry, right? So what should be the deciding factor that, okay, yeah, I should go as a QA guy or the dev guy, or maybe some other thing like AI or ML or some other things?
Okay. So again, I want to take 2 points here. One is like how badly you want a job. Okay, I have seen so many people, they just want to get into the IT, irrespective if it's a developer, tester, support. Even if they don't get, they jump into the call center and they start getting, again back to the IT after 2 years. So if you're someone who love only the developer profile, if you are someone who just think, now I will be the developer, I will be the someone who will be creating apps, something, then if you don't have any other option, you just stick to your mindset that you want to work as a developer and you continue with that. Because as we know internally that first of all, you should get into the IT, then you can change your profiles. Okay, as so may have changed from developer to QA. I have seen many people, they have changed their path from QA to developer or developer to DevOps. There's so many internal switching that we can do. Okay, the once you get into the IT. So again, if you are someone who just want to get into the developer and you don't want to get into testing or DevOps, you can, if you're not getting profile, you can still applying and until not getting the proper profile. But if you're someone who just want to grab the job because you have an education loan, you have a stress, you just want to get started with your IT career, you don't want to waste even a 6 month or 1 year. Okay, start with your testing. Okay, don't waste that. I cannot change my career after 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. That's completely myth. Okay, depends on the skill set, how well you're performing. You can just get the internal posting and you can easily move on based on your manager discussion and all. So yeah, that is why my point that it's your opinion of you are someone who just want to get started as soon as possible. Okay, first see that is it matching with the skill set? If yes, then get into that. Later on, you can switch. And I just want to share my personal opinion. I worked as one of the finance company almost for 9 months. Okay, I just quit my job. I came to Bangalore. I just wasted my 3 months. Then I started applying as a developer. Okay, frankly speaking, I got rejected it by 2 companies. Then I got into the testing. Then I got to know there's a lot of things that we can explore. Then I got into the automation, and here I am. So मेरी पूरी family चल रही है testing से. So it's not something. Okay, as we discussed last question, low profile, high profile. No,
Yeah.
some if it
I
matches
left
with your
my job
skill
just
set, your
because of
requirement,
testing.
go for it.
Your family is going on, but I left my job just because of testing, just to.
Exactly.
So back to Soumya quickly, like a very quick answer from you that as a you move from dev to QA, like is it very common things are happening? Like is it like really happening? Like a lot of people are doing it. Have you ever seen like other people as well that people are moving from dev to QA? Like it's so fascinating, like doing some automation, as you mentioned earlier that you like to write the code and then but less stressful work in QA automation things and then so is it really happening or is it just a myth once again?
See, the thing is that my reasons were very different from moving from dev to QA, because I did not want to spend 24/7 in job. Okay, what I used to see that time, 15 years back, that QA used to put 4 defects at 6 p.m. and they just go home, and we used to sit there and fix defects the entire night. Okay, so that was my motivation to go to QA. But believe me, I was so blessed to go on the other side, because there is so much to learn. Okay, even if I be a developer, I would have been either writing UI or backend or some middleware or something like that. But in QA, you can express yourself. You can learn a lot of aspects of the software build process. Okay, and with these new opportunities that are coming on the QA side, you can move to DevOps, you can move to, you can even learn machine learning and apply in testing. Okay, there is so much opportunity that I then saw, and and then it's just all these years I've been doing that. But believe me, writing code is what I still like to do, and I write code because I just want to reduce some time in some process. So that's the mindset that I.
Correct. So I have one last question. Thank you, Soumya, for Aprajita. That especially from the the female candidate, some female candidate they went to US having some career gap of 6-7 years because of a family and then the baby and everything and then so what do you suggest because a lot of female candidates they ask me that Naveen, what should I do now? Like it's been 6 years. I never worked. I was working in India. I did my MCA in 2013 or 12 or 2010. After that, I never worked with. I was working with TCS Infosys, but from last 5 years, I'm not working at all. So, like, is it really possible to start the career? Or how difficult it is, if it is possible?
Wow, that's a hard one. So actually, leave 6 years gap. It's hard to maintain your career with family. I've done it. It's not an easy thing to do. And by no means, I mean, it's easier for male counterparts, right? Like these days, dads are equally involved in kids' lives as moms are. So it's very challenging in both sense. It does take a bigger toll on mothers for, obvious physical reasons. If you haven't been working for 6-7 years, there are two things. When you apply to a company, there are people who will outrightly, not interview with you because there's a 6-year gap. I would always counter question: do I even want to work for such a company? Right? I probably don't. Right? I have some self-respect. I don't want to work for them. Okay. Second, what can you do to make your profile better? If say imagine you were hiring a tutor for your child, and this tutor has not, like, I have studied maths or science in my high school, but for the last 12 years or 6 years I have not done anything, but I want to take money and I want to teach your child. Will you hire this tutor? You probably won't, right?
Correct.
So put yourself in those shoes, and you can do different things to put on your resume. You can there are a lot of places where you can test for voluntarily. There are volunteer opportunities both in dev and test. get involved in those projects. If you don't want to do that, if you're into like automation, GitHub, find applications, write code, become a community member of an application. You can on open source tools, contribute there, right? And if you add these things to your profile, they make a big difference, right? Networking, very important. So I know sometimes people feel, why should I spend the money of going to a conference, or why should I? If you are in this position, these are very good places to go and meet people, talk to them, understand what you really want to do. And it's not just about QA. Maybe 6 years later you don't want to be a QA, maybe you want to do something else. Maybe you were a dev and you want to shift to QA. Maybe you were QA, you want to shift to dev. There can be so many things. So talk to people, because the industry has evolved in 6 years, right? And your thought process may be in a very different spot. So these are all the things that you can do. But if you think that without putting effort and just submitting resume, you're going to get it, you're going to not get it. I know it's unfair, but you're not going to get it, because people have other candidates who have been in the industry, who have been working. So you have to put in some extra effort. You will have to prepare for interviews. You will have to do that extra work on your time, which is going to be even harder because you're taking care of your family, right? So you have to be disciplined. You have to take that time out, put in that effort. And I see no reason why you will not be able to, move back into the industry. But you have to put in the effort.
Absolutely, the efforts are very important. In fact, the preparation accordingly, it's very important, because at the same time, some other people are also applying for the same job and they are already experienced, they're already in the market. Absolutely agree with you. But I think it's not possible. It's doable, but you have to put your efforts. Yeah.
Yes, and it's very difficult. It's because you get into a routine, right? You have your family routine. It's difficult to break it. So I would say, go to the library, go study somewhere else. Take the time out of your day to actually commit to this effort, and then I think you will make some progress. But if you think ho jayega, to wo nahi hoega. It will not work out.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yeah. Something you want to add?
Yes, I just wanted to add one more thing, because I had been associated with these kind of things wherein the female have gaps because of certain reasons. My wife, she pursued her passion for 6 years. She was an entrepreneur. She had a gap. It was a non-technical work that she was doing because she was teaching English and mathematics to kids. Okay. But I just wanted to add one more point. What Aparajita clearly mentioned, you obviously needs to put that effort. However, just to be in the interest of the audience, there are return to work programs from these multinationals which are there in this industry. Seek out those opportunities. I have been one of the giving back philosophy of Morgan Stanley, because I was being associated with Morgan Stanley. And one of the things that they do as giving back is to get the return to work folks. And I have mentored myself people who had gap of 5-6 years coming back to Morgan Stanley to be in the mainstream. In fact, there were boys, the male people, who would also take break, and those will also come to the return to work program. So all these multinationals, go look into the websites. They have return to work options. But obviously, what Aparajita mentioned is absolutely right, that you have to put efforts to do it.
Yeah.
Just one thing, Naveen. Just one thing. Well, Aparajita mentioned that there are programs which allow you to explore testing as a freelancer or maybe something like that. So UTest, I don't know how many people have heard, has been doing it for many years, and I have benefited out of it. Okay, it was more from an extra source of income perspective, but for people who are looking to apply their skills, looking to test their skills, can reach out to companies like UTest, which allow you to test sitting at the comfort of your home and build your knowledge, build your skills, and make money. I know of testers who have been doing UTest full time. Okay, so there are obviously options available, and it is not just for women. Like Soumya said, for men as well. People take breaks for doing a master's program, and suddenly there is a gap. Okay, and people are looking for options. So these are very good ideas, and I really like the way Aprajita has explained the whole thing.
Exactly, like Aprajita, thank you so much. Like a lot of people, they were asking, and I was like always confused at what kind of answer I should give from my side. I think you just like hit the right point. Absolutely agree with you, and all of Soumya also that, yeah. So I think, guys, I'm really happy that okay, I've covered all the questions and whatever the questions that I have prepared from my side. Now let's take some questions. If you are agree, we can spend 10 more minutes. We can take some questions from the audience.
Sure.
So audience now, like guys, you can ask whatever the question that you want to ask. Feel free to ask. I'll try to take some really good questions from the live chat. And guys, if you have any questions you want to answer, please let me know that we can highlight those questions as well. So let me check a lot of chats. Any questions? So I think we can take developers do project for LinkedIn to attract recruiters on resume. What can testers do on projects to showcase on resume? Someone wants to take this one? Srini, please go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, nowadays I see a lot of testers. They're contributing a lot of things in GitHub. GitHub opened it, really opened it. It's not GitHub, YouTube. There are like so many sessions that like anything that comes up, you will find a channel. Every detail there. That's a lot of opportunity. There are blogs being written. And when I want to try out something, like I said, DevOps or like some performance thing, I just search in GitHub. And there are amazing projects that you can find. And when I see some of the GitHub projects, they are like contributing a lot of testers. Every month they contribute 2 projects. That's really, really amazing that we didn't have that opportunity 10 years back or
Correct.
15 years back. I think there are a lot of opportunities.
I would like to add one thing. Actually, what has happened is I look through LinkedIn profiles as well, right? When I'm recruiting, I've actually found people who have copy pasted things, pirated things, and they're claiming it as their own. So I know you are very smart and you can do that, but people who are trying to search for people are also very smart.
Yes.
So it's important for you to have projects on your profile, but be genuine, be authentic, right? Nothing is small, nothing is big. Write stuff that you can actually claim as yourself. Don't copy paste people's stuff and post it as yourself. It is not appropriate. And if I know of you, I will never hire you ever in future that you've done this. I'm just telling upfront.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Just wanted to add one more point what Aprajita has mentioned. I have been trying to find time to work with WebDriver as one of the open source tools, right? And one of the things that are missing in these open source tools, and people can write in their resume by contributing into the documentation. Okay, so you can basically go understand the tool, start seeing what are the gaps in the documentation, start contributing to the open source product. Because right now, what I have seen is that people just want incoming. They don't want to do anything to outgoing stuff. But you can very well go start writing documentation. Go to the GitHub repos of different people writing different things and start contributing. There are so many things that you can do.
Yeah, one point I would say that, okay, absolutely right that you can contribute for GitHub documentation, everything. But see, it's all about give and take to the community. You have taken a lot of things from the community. I think we should not that be selfish. We should always give back to the community. Start maybe some blogging thing, start writing the blogs, start documenting those really good stuff. Like for example, WebDriver IO, and you have done some research on that, or you have created one specific project. Along with maintaining your GitHub profile and your code base over there, start writing the blogs and share the blogs with the community. Create groups, like we have Telegram groups, and start sharing your knowledge over there, and then take some sessions, participate in some different webinars, and start sharing your knowledge. I think, and then you can mention your LinkedIn profile, your code base, your blogging on your resume as well, in your LinkedIn profile as well. Whenever some recruiter is coming and checking your profile, definitely it's a very good impact, right? That okay, yeah, this is the main contributor for the APM, main contributor for the Selenium or WebDriver IO, writing the blogs as well, maintaining all these code repositories. I think it's always gives a really, really good impact at a time of interview.
Naveen, talking about LinkedIn introduced a wonderful feature a few months ago for called as featured, articles or stuff that you have done, and that allows you to add videos, allows you to add slides, allows you to add PDF, articles that you have written on different platforms. It allows you to add almost everything. Take advantage of that. Your work will automatically get showcased. I mean, like you said, people can do more than just writing blogs. They can do webinars, share your knowledge in multiple forums. I have also recently seen a lot of people start their own YouTube channel to share. Excellent, which I think is wonderful, because you are not only taking from the community but also giving it back, which I am absolutely happy about. And these are the kind of things that will make people more valued, more visible. So yes, keep doing that.
Yeah. So let's quickly, guys, let's take the next question. Maybe I have 15 years experience in testing. Now I'm in US looking for a job. I have only done manual testing, little automation, worked as QA lead for 8 years. Could you suggest a career path for me? Shailesh, you want to take this one? Shailesh, I think you are on mute. Or
Hello, am I audible?
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, so he has a 15-year of experience in testing. So this is really a rich experience. And as he told that little automation experience, but he worked as a QA lead for 8 years. So after 15 years of experience, when you are applying for anything, it will be or as a QA lead positions or QA manager positions, something like that, that you might be applying for that, and where you might need automation knowledge. But as I said in one of the questions, that at some point of time you don't require to do all kind of architecture knowledge or all like hands-on coding knowledge, but you should have that very good understanding on that. So what you need to do is you need to again sharpen your automation related skills. You need to learn more on nowadays everything like API is common thing. So API testing is common thing. You can go for performance non-functional related testing. Just brush up few those things, and then you can go with that. Because there is a trend nowadays that if you are applying for a lead positions or a manager position, something, there is a need to have those such experience or such knowledge that you should have. So you just need to brush up and you can go with that.
Can I add to that?
Add something? Oh,
yeah.
Abhi, go ahead, please. Abhi, go ahead, please.
So I want to make one thing clear, right? Like I've been in the US for a very long time now, and the titles don't work the same way as they do in India. Okay. So I can be a test manager today and I can be SDE2 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. The social profile of a lead and SDE2 or this job salary and all of that, it is not hierarchically growing. So I think if you're coming outside of the US, it doesn't work the same way. You should try and approach it. And okay, we already said that you can grow your skills in something else. If you find a position which requires a functional tester, and even if it's a senior engineer, even if it's an SDE2, apply for it. There is no reason you should not. It's not a downgrade in any level. So that concept doesn't exist here.
Correct. Yeah, so let's quickly move to the next one. Is it better to have other aspects of testing like non-functional testing, performance, security, penetration testing? The reason to ask this, all these aspects are very vast to learn. Like Mukesh, you want to take this one?
Yeah. So again, I have never worked with security, so I can comment on the performance testing. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, like if you want to grow as a test architect, that yes, definitely you need to be, have the hands on the different part as well. Apart from functional, you have to be the part of the non-functional as well. So when you see the reason, like they all have aspect very vast to learn. So again, the same thing which I mentioned in all my videos, that you just need to first initially start, which is important, okay, in order to get started, okay? Like 20% topics that we use 80% of the time, right? So in order to get started, you can start with what is important for you, and then you learn all of this, okay, which is the second part. So again, there's a no skip to learn, okay, skip plan that you don't have to learn this. If you want to grow, you have to learn. There's no other option. But yeah, again, it should match with your current role, current skill set. So again, I want to give an example. Okay, the last time I was working one of my team, and I was a little hard on myself. Like I was saying that I will only do the automation. I will not be doing this part. Okay, so I was not very agile to take the new project, which was completely manual. Okay, and again, I have to do manual performance test. Okay, that I have to check the response time of the different pages, and it was kind of boring for me initially. Then my manager told me that, Mukesh, see, your goal should be aligned with the company goal. Okay, if your goals are not matching, again, you might have to find another job. He was very blunt with me. Okay, because if your goal is not matching, definitely we need to find another guy who will do this task for us. As of now, this is what we need. So one path is your learning curve. Okay, that you have to take it separately. But one thing is that you have to see which your job demands. If both matches, it's always good. But if both are not matching, that also you should continue with the learning path.
Exactly. So that is the problem with these days with automation engineers that, I mean, I'm pretty much sure that, okay, you all agree with that, that I want to do only automation.
No,
I'm
that
not
is bad.
I'm not being hired
Yes.
for manual testing or other products testing. You give me 100 test cases, I'll try to automate that and forget about the domain expertise and forget about the product knowledge and feature. This is the problem. This is the attitude problem with the automation engineers these days, that, okay, they really just want to do the automation. That's it. They just want to use a specific tool. You are using it properly or non-properly, that is a different story. But I just want to do automation and that's it. I don't want to work. I don't want to execute. I don't want to write the test cases. I don't want to learn about the product. No feature, nothing. Brijesh, you want to add something quickly, that what is the retirement age of a tester in IT industry? I'm asking you because you know that. You know that. Okay,
Well,
I'm asking you.
so do you think I'm approaching my retirement age? So before answering this question, I saw another question in the chat, and that was very interesting for me. And the question said, "I am 40 years old. Can I start testing?
Yeah.
Can I start
Yes.
learning testing now?" Well, of course you can. You can start right now. And as far as retirement age goes, well, there is no limit. If somebody can become a president of a country at the age of 80, you can definitely still remain a tester at the age of 80. There is no retirement age. You would not want to retire if you are really passionate about testing. Why would you even think of retiring? It is
Correct.
something that is so much fun. So in very simple words, no age limit to start testing. You can start right now, whatever your age is, and there is no retirement age limit. There cannot be.
Thanks for clearing out. Okay, let's move to the next one. How important certification in both India and abroad? Like, this is also very, a lot of people, they ask this question. In India, is it
Can
really
I?
matter? In abroad? Yeah, please go ahead. Like,
Okay. So
Brajesh and Srinivas.
yeah. So see, it depends on what certification you are doing first of all, and why
And
you
if
are
you
doing.
want to take some certification name also, please feel free to do that. Like,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me begin with ISTQB first. Okay, the most popular one. ISTQB is the most popular certification in India. There are more than 100,000 ISTQB certified testers. I am one of them. Okay, and when I did that, I was amazed that nobody's talking about whatever the ISTQB certification course covered. When I started to thought of applying it, nobody was talking about it. And few years later, I was like, why is it even happening? Now, what companies do these days is they use that as a check in the box. So if you are ISTQB certified, then you are eligible for that job. So if you want to treat this as a tick in the box, go for it. Well, in a sense, your work and your certification are two different things. Your certification will not make you a great tester. It will say that, okay, you have undergone a training, you have written an exam, and you have passed that exam. That is my perspective on certification. Okay, you are good enough to pass a certification exam, but are you good enough to test? A certification does not tell you that. Okay, yeah, certifications are also good for building your image, that okay, I have so many certifications. I see LinkedIn profiles with like 15
Yeah.
certifications listed, And I like, wow, that is absolutely awesome. But is that adding value to your job? Have you become a better tester after getting all those certifications?
Absolutely, yeah.
Have you become? I mean, the next one after ISTQB is CSM. Okay, everybody is a certified Scrum Master, but why is there so much confusion about Scrum? Nobody knows what Scrum does. Why? Because people have gone to the training 2 days, spent some money, given the exam, which is like 90 minutes exam, open book exam. So people have happily given the exam, maybe scored 100%, and they have the certificate. And all you have to do is pay $50 every year to get it renewed.
Yeah,
No big deal, right?
that's
I am
another
right,
scam.
but am I applying it for value? I don't think so. So
Srinivas, like you want to add something quickly?
Yeah. So I've been in this industry since a long time, 20 years. So zero certification. So I don't know if I'm eligible to be in this panel or you'll kick me out now.
No, Srinivas, even I don't have any certification.
Okay. Good.
I forcefully did by ISTQB, but after that, no certification.
And Elon Musk recently he tweeted something. He said, no, in somewhere he said, MBAs are polluting companies. So little related, why I mentioned that is, if you go to MBA college, take the theory there and then say like, I'll apply everything straightforward without thinking what is the business. It will all go, I mean, you cannot replace the experience of the people there. So the certifications are just now the money minting. All of you mentioned that it's just right now they're all money minting machines. The theory part, some of them are helpful. Read that. I'd suggest just go read them anywhere. But I don't like certifications. Sorry if anyone likes them. And if some company asks for certifications, I won't join them.
Yeah, but that is a trend you see. Like if you go to Australia, if you go to some of the European countries, that they ask for the certification. Like ISTQB is compulsory. Is it like really? I mean, have you seen this trend, Brijesh?
You're on mute, Brijesh.
Brijesh, you're on mute.
Okay, I want to talk about this. I work for a company called Sogeti, and Sogeti is, there is a popular certification in Europe called TMAP, and it comes from Sogeti. Okay, and of course there is ISTQB, which is also big. So companies constantly look for, when the job description is out, they say, okay, we need TMAP certified or we need ISTQB certified. So it is more of a tick in the box, like I said. That, okay, if you want to get into that job, you might as well have that certification. Okay, but do you really apply it on the job? Is it really helpful? If you ask me personally, I don't think so. It does not make me a better.
Brijesh, you are breaking actually.
Can you hear me?
Brijesh, you are breaking. I think you have to join it again.
Okay, so I just wanted to add one more point till the time he comes back.
Yeah.
I made a lot of certification courses, believe me. Okay, if you look at my profile, you would know this. But I never sold any.
Nice one. That's a good one. In fact, I would like to share one quick experience. Like in my previous company, we were hiring a lot of good UI automation engineers, and there was a consulting company, and they suggested 15 candidates, and they all were, I don't know to take that certification name in Selenium that is quite popular in the market these days. That and they all are Selenium certified. And when I see the knowledge, and they all cleared the certification, and with the resume also they were carrying the certification, that so a soft copy and with them. And I was like, okay, it means you are certified Selenium certified tester. And I was taking the interview, and then and the knowledge was so poor. Like I really don't know how exactly the curriculum they decided, kind of syllabus they were maintaining for that particular certification. And that time I was really surprised to see that, okay, you claim, but okay, you are this, whatever, whatever the certification that you have gone through, and that you don't have any knowledge that how will you work with that, and who cleared the certification. And they paid 6,500 rupees per certification for that. And that was a really sad story, really sad part, that okay, yeah, this is what people are doing. And same thing
Yeah.
with ISTQB also. I personally believe that okay, the certification I really don't think so that okay has no value. Sometimes it's not at all upgraded also. Whatever the core syllabus, whatever they have mentioned 10, 15 years back, they have never upgraded after that. And then any random, and a lot of scams are happening in the market. You just pay 3,000 extra bucks and you will get the certification. Some other person will give you the certification on behalf of you. This is also what is happening in the market.
Naveen, can I just add one more thing if you can
Quickly.
Yeah. So I have seen a lot of people talk about concepts of testing based on the ISTQB syllabus. Okay, I've seen people doing videos on that and taking mock interviews and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I feel so sad about the people who are actually attending those things without understanding if it is right or not. And you're
Correct.
absolutely right that bodies like ISTQB, which are absolutely commercial in nature, they don't care about if a tester learns actually something. They care about their business, and companies are falling into that trap. People are falling into that trap, and some people are still making weird businesses out of it. So for those who are listening, be extremely careful about choosing your mentors, choosing the direction. There are two people sitting in this panel, Naveen and Mukesh, who have done great work through their experience. There is Soumya sitting here who's running an apprenticeship program. Follow leaders like these rather than following anybody randomly teaching you ISTQB syllabus and trying to make his business. Well, that's weird.
Okay, the next question quickly. Oscar Gandhi is asking that I want to ask what is the thing you hate in testing? That was an interview question.
I don't hate anything. And it's okay to say that. You don't have to have an answer for every question they ask you. Like,
Shailesh might want to be the answer for that. What do you hate about one of the
So
work?
if I have been asked what I hate in the testing, so the mentality that is quality is only QA's responsibility, which is something really wrong. Quality is everyone's responsibility. If my dev team is not doing their unit testing properly and just pushing the code like anything, and I'm just finding the unit level issues, I cannot go to the corner cases. If my deployment team is making mistake, that I cannot ensure the quality. So that's one thing that I heard.
Srinivas, you want to add quickly?
Yeah. What I would say is if someone gives me a checklist and say just execute it daily, I'll hate it. That's not testing. If someone says like automate this and don't think of anything, I hate it because that's not automation. You need to think of how to improve things, how to look at things differently and all. But if someone tells me only do this, I'll hate it. I will.
Naveen, I hate it when people say I want 100% coverage.
That's absolutely right. Yeah. Quickly, one hate thing
Yes.
from all the panelists. Mukesh, what is the
I
hate?
just hate. Yeah. The only thing which I hate about the status, okay, the people are only concerned about green and red. They are not concerned about the quality. Trust me. If something's green, okay, it's red. Okay, we are not sure whether it's working fine or not. We haven't even executed the test, man, because of the time constraint. Execute it. We'll see the next time. That is something which I hate about the status part.
Even I have
We
seen the
don't
people
take
just
praise of the
aag ban karke pass in quality center and done.
That's something which is very, very wrong, which we have to work on. But yeah. It's still happening.
Soumya, you want to add like quick one hate thing that you
One hate thing is the politics that the QA has. Okay, in all the organizations, that this is not my job, this is your job. Please stop that, because it's everybody's job to ensure quality of the product.
Yeah.
Okay, and I can go whichever boundaries I need to cross, but I need to understand that the quality is important.
I will not hire anyone on this panel. Do you know why? Because the question was, what do you hate about testing? It was not that what are the things other people do in an organization that you don't like.
No, so these are the people who belongs to testing who does this.
Okay, guys, next one.
Oh, we just lost a US job opportunity.
Yeah.
Please give some. I don't like this question. First of all, that please give some points or suggestions about how I switch from service to product company in QA profile. Like what do you mean by service and product? It's you're getting good work, good
How
money,
is it
good job,
important?
good work.
How is it even relevant?
How is it important? Yeah, that is what, like, I don't know, like, in fact, I have done a couple of mistakes few years back in my YouTube channel that, okay, guys, no product, because I'm most of the time I have worked with product companies. I think I should change this mindset. I've already changed it. And then nowadays I don't never say that, okay, a difference between service based or product based. But is it really necessary? Like I have to go to Amazon from Infosys. Like, is it like really needed to do that?
No, in my opinion. Well, recently I did a talk in a conference and I spoke about, the test strategy of the FANG companies, and does it even make sense to me? And I told very clearly that while we are looking at those as models, as example companies, somebody like Facebook, which says, "Oh, I have a fully automated CI/CD pipeline, and look how robust my thing is." But still, as users, how many bugs do we see on Facebook every day? I mean, when was the last time Facebook notifications worked properly? I cannot think of a time. So if you talk of a product company from that perspective, that working in a product company is absolutely great, and working for a service company is different. Well, testing is the same everywhere. It won't be different. How you apply your testing skills, how you apply your knowledge, how you apply your abilities to make the product better, whether it is from a service perspective or from a product perspective, is what you need to learn. That's it. The rest doesn't matter.
Correct. So let's move to the next quick question. That is, as I heard that obviously companies fire the senior people also at the age of 40, 45 because their package is too high. So what is the solution for that? Srinivas, sir, your package is too high. Be ready.
No, I think that's a good question, actually. So why should I keep you? Any company, why should I keep you? If I started my own company and if I have to give you 50 lakhs or 80 lakhs or something, why will I keep you? It's just the value that I give. A fresher, a senior engineer, a principal engineer every day. So if you're bringing the breadth, if you're bringing the depth, if you're bringing the X kind of skills, all these skills, you are there, you're still relevant. Today, if you're like saying, okay, I started my career with WinRunner and then Silk and then QTP. If I have stopped there, I don't know anything. I can't talk to anyone at all. I will be just sitting there, people talking about Selenium, frameworks, DevOps, all this. And I'll be like, okay, what is Page Factory? I know factories and all, but what is this Page Factory and what happens there? And as long as you give the value with the product, if you have understanding of the business, your product, and if you have to keep delivering that value, improving the process, I can improve process, which can save millions to the company. They don't mind paying some part of it. So that's the mantra. I think keep learning. I keep saying that keep learning, keep upscaling yourself, unlearn and learn. Don't stick to QTP and say I only know that or other things.
Quickly, guys, that we have to take two more questions. And Soumya, like, you want to add something?
Yeah, I wanted to add. I'll just take a quick example of football. There is a striker, there is a winger, there is a midfielder. These are all specialized positions. Okay, but doesn't mean that if I'm a striker, I would say, okay, pass the ball and I'll just only hit it. What you do basically is you go wide. Okay, you basically go and defend when your team needs it. So you need to go wide in your organization. Okay, if you are at 40, 45 age, because the expectations are higher. Okay, you may need to write an RFP. You may need to, go into sales calls. Come on. So like, you need to go wide.
Okay. Yeah. One question that on RPA, like a lot of UiPath and RPA automation and these things are coming. So what do you think? Like, what is the future of RPA? Automation Anywhere, UiPath, such tools are coming. Shailesh, you want to give some opinion about it? Is it like really necessary these days that you're already working really good in Selenium and other automation stuff, doing good things? And do you really need to spend time and money and efforts on RPA or UI automation, such things? Is it really needed? What is the current market demand for this?
Sure. So, very first thing I would say that you need to understand what is RPA. So, it is not a part of testing. That's a different thing. RPA is a totally different thing. It is a robotics process automation. So, we are not testing anything. We are making we are just automating some processes which we are doing on a day-by-day basis. Now, on the future of RPA, so RPA is a really good thing. If give you one example, a banking employee is doing so many manual activity in a day, you can automate those activity. He is doing some underwriting, he's fetching some data from one system, uploading in another system, and then he's just putting some things, macros or formula into Excel, again putting that on some SAP or Finacle, all this thing. So we automate all these things so that manual person's work will be automated. Now, banking, healthcare, manufacturing, every industry has such a monotonous job or manual job. It can be automated, but there are still challenges. The challenges in terms of where we do have some invoices we need to scan and we need to extract those things. So RPA industry is still, we can say it's just surviving for all these things. There are so many challenges. Another thing on tool side, you mentioned about UiPath, you mentioned about the automation anywhere and all. When we compare to Selenium, the automation anywhere or UiPath are the tool which cost a lot.
Yeah,
exactly. A lot. If you want to set up a UiPath RPA for your company with, let's say, 2 robots or something, it would cost you, let's say, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs. So every company cannot afford that because that's a tool cost plus the implementation cost. So if we go back to the QTP era, every company cannot afford QTP because it was too high. The cost was too high. After Selenium came into the market, because of it is free, that's the only reason that it is so much popular. Everyone is adopting that. So similar way, there are some tools in RPA which still are under development, still are on the phase where people are just evaluating them and all. So there might be the future, but it may take some time. But the way the bubble has been blown for the RPA, it's like, I mean, it can burst, it cannot. It is my personal opinion. I'm not making any general statement or something, but yeah, the way people are talking RPA and adding AI and ML and everything, making it hyper automations or cognitive automations and all, just treat those as a buzzword, learn basics. Then once you start learning the basic, you can get to know that, okay, what will be the RPA and what will be the future.
In fact, I'll tell you one quick experience that last year before Corona stuff, I went to one RPA meetup. And then I was talking to different people, a lot of QA people also, they came over there and they joined some, a training in Hyderabad in Bangalore, 3 months training or 4 months training, and they paid around 75,000 for automation anywhere in UiPath. And then I asked, okay, is it really worth? And they said, okay, Naveen, not a single opportunity in the market. And only 1% companies, they are just looking for RPA. And then that is something totally different, course together. And then what is the training that they have given to us? And what kind of work we are getting, we are not able to crack interviews for those 1% companies as well. So that time I got to know, like, paying 75,000 for 3 months training for RPA, and then you are not getting opportunities and not getting work. And then it's like a totally like a buzzword according to me. Still, it's like, according to me, it's a totally buzzword.
No, before jumping or before thinking of jumping from testing to RPA, understand the difference between the two, like Sailesh pointed out. Test automation and robotics process automation, or business process automation, as some people like to call it, are different things. Okay, you can use UiPath or Automation Anywhere to do a little bit of test automation. Okay, similarly, you can do, using Selenium, you can do a little bit of RPA, but it doesn't mean that one can be used interchangeably with others. Because if you have a if you have a screw, you can use a hammer. But correct, do you really want to use it? Does it really make sense? So you understand that, and your problems will be resolved.
So
Okay.
Naveen, one more point.
Yeah.
In my automation, I had a chance to automate one end-to-end scenario, which includes different applications, PDF files, Excel reading.
Yeah.
So they asked me to automate this. I automated using different libraries as a open source. I automated everything using open source libraries, and I showed them, and they found very complex thing. Okay, that why using so many libraries to do this. They suggested me go with RPA. Okay, I did that. I downloaded the UEFI. I did the same stuff. Still, I was able to do the same, but it was looking fancy that I have workflow. It's connecting the dots. I'm not writing code, and I'm calling these scripts as bots, which looks fascinating. But actually, if you see, they're just a script. It is just we are going fancy name that it's a bot that we have deployed, and our bots are running. Same thing we're doing automation. It's running somewhere in the Jenkins server. We are still running the same. So as Bajesh said, and as Salish mentioned, it's a marketing gimmick also sometimes, right?
Yeah.
You can still do without paying the tools, but it is just RPA is making little task easier that even a non-technical guy, simple drag drop the activities. You don't need to write code, read PDFs in 2 lines, verify and do that. Okay. So as Naveen, you mentioned, right, they're not getting single opportunity. That's true. Okay. Even though you see that they're hiring RPA developers, RPA testers. Okay. But I don't think it's we have a lot of opportunities as of now, but we don't know about the future. So don't fall into this trap also, guys. Okay, RPA has a huge demand on, I'm not sure, but still the fundamentals remain same whether you call this a bot or the script.
Correct. Quickly, thanks Kumar for giving me 100 bucks for the coffee. I have 3 years of experience in GUI testing, but don't have experience in Selenium. Now I want to switch company, but most job openings are for Selenium profile. Aparajita, what do you quickly?
Dude, learn it. If you want to change your job and the job asks for Selenium, you're not going to crack the interview if you don't learn it. So learn it. Or you find a job that doesn't require it. Like I know it sounds hard, but try it. I'm sure you can learn it. You're a smart guy. You can, you're here tracking all these interview panelists and Naveen. I'm sure Naveen has probably videos that are already there on YouTube that teach you how to do Selenium. So utilize these resources and learn them.
Thanks for promoting my channel.
No, you're sitting in Naveen's channel, so you should promote it, right?
Yeah. So guys, yeah.
1 minute. One question I read in the chat. I just like to just answer on that. Someone asked that I have experience and I recently learned Selenium. Can I show the fake experience? So that's not for that particular guy, but to everyone, please do not fake experience. What you can do, you learn the Selenium, you can work on some demo project, you can mention that I have done that kind of POC, I have done that automation for my project. Or if you want to show as a real-time project, whatever project you are learning, if you are not getting time in your 8 hours, you can stretch your work and you automate something. Even though your customer, your company is not asking, you can automate them. Nobody is stopping you. You do have your dev server, QA server work on the weekend, you automate them and show in your resume that, okay, this is something I have done, instead of faking it. If you fake, as Aparajita told, that the people who are taking the interview are even also smarter than you. So they will definitely call.
Soumya, you want to add something?
Yes. So I wanted to just add what Shailesh has mentioned is that, and I have been training a lot of non-technical people. Like, I wouldn't say non-technical. They have common sense and they know they're much more common sense than others. They're all manual testers and they have wanted to make a career in automation testing. What I generally tell them is in my apprenticeship program is that you start learning, say, Selenium, whichever tool is running in your company, learn about that tool through any a course or any video channels, like you have Naveen's Selenium. And then what you can do is you can then go back and look into what your guys are doing in your company, try to relate, try to understand, and then you can always mention that in your profile that this is what has been going into my company and this is what I've understood, right? And make it that way.
Yeah, correct. So guys, this is totally out of today's topic was totally different and this question is totally different actually, but still, like, every day I'm getting these questions. how to handle this 90 days notice period, guys? If can please someone can give the answer for that, that will be great.
I'll go for it. Okay, so one of the things that people do when they join a job, or the only thing that people do is look at the package. Okay, nobody asks a question during an interview. What is your notice period? Okay, so if the company has a 90-day notice period, will they be willing to wait for 90 days for somebody to join? And if the other company where you are applying is saying that, oh, because you have 90 days notice period, you cannot join, ask them how much time do they take to release people? What is their notice period? Do they have immediate release policies? If not, then that company is not worth. So don't get into that trap. That is a simple answer. Okay. And if you are looking to switch, well, if you are caught in that 90 days thing, well, it's hard. It's tough. I have been through one of those companies. Fortunately, I was lucky to get out on the 65th day because it was the end of the month, and the company did not want to pay for another 25 days. So,
Srinivas, sir, you want to add something on this? How to handle this
Yeah.
90 days?
I mean, in every discussion, it comes up in our company saying that every company is changing. Should we change? And we are like, no, 30 days is our time. We are not changing it. So I think that should happen everywhere, that discussion. And why are we doing that? We have a lot of pressure. I mean, when we are hiring, we have to wait 90 days. And when we are leaving, when someone is leaving, it's 30 days. So it's okay. 30 days is the period. What will you do with the person that has resigned, keeping him for 90 days? It's just like harassing, nothing but harassing people.
That's true.
Correct.
Actually,
But
I'm going to tell you a secret. Okay, I'm in the US. It sounds very fancy. It's not. Okay, I'm on a visa, and I have to think 2 years ahead before I can even switch companies. Like, I'm being bluntly honest. Okay, it's not all fancy and good. These situations are everywhere. You get into it yourself. You have to really analyze what is important for your life, right? Do you have financial constraints with your family? Like, how are you going to switch? Are you able to save enough money to be able to, not worry about things? So I am saying this because I hear this and people say, oh, you are in the US, you don't know. I'm like, dude, you have no idea. I have immigration problems. I have to think 1 year, 1.5 years ahead before I can switch a job. So 90 days in my head is like, wow, that's easy.
one thing which I would agree with Srinivas is, once you have resigned, okay, and you've decided that you want to move on, you are good for nothing for the present company. So company should start thinking and understand that this guy is not going to stay unless you make every single effort to retain that guy. Secondly, Brijesh has mentioned, and like he has just taken my words from my mouth, is like, I also check, when I do, I will not take others' example. I do when I check, and people ask me, what's your notice period? I ask them, what is your policy? You tell me, if you are having your 90-day policy, that why are you even expecting me to join us?
Yeah, but sometimes what happens that, okay, the moment you tell that, okay, and you are totally prepared for that particular interview, and the moment you say 90 days notice period, and HR will say that, okay, yeah, we will revert back to you, or we don't entertain 90
That's
days.
fine.
no,
That's
Naveen,
fine.
Naveen, before you answer that question, when the HR asks you, what is your notice period? You ask them, well, you tell me what is your policy. Then I will tell you what is my notice period. Do
But
you
see,
release people within 2 weeks or within a month? If you don't, then you are not even that should be the basis of you to decide whether you want to join that company or not.
But
Well-
Brijesh, that is fine. We can ask the questions. We can ask the question that, okay, what is your policy, notice period policy from the HR? But think for those people who are actually having a very rare, first of all, that they're really hardly getting the opportunities in the market, and once in a while they are getting the calls, and that call also saying that, okay, yeah, a 90 days notice period, we are not accepting that. In that case, people, they desperately want to get into that. So that is a problem these days, especially from all these basic service based company having 90 days ka notice period, and then hardly you're getting the call. Once
I would suggest that you need to upskill then. Go wide, upskill yourself. You be into those into that place where you would start getting more calls. If you have that
Yeah.
problem, there
Correct.
are hundreds of companies. In Bangalore itself, if I throw a brick somewhere, it's an IT company, right? There are opportunities. It is like that. Don't get disheartened about I'm not getting this job. Come on, they don't deserve you to be there, so don't worry about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, upskate, and that's very important. Meanwhile, you will start getting a lot of good calls, and then you will have a lot of options. But so, guys, I think that's all for today. I think most of the questions are getting repeated, and most of the things we have already covered. Any last pointer from anyone?
Stay happy, guys. Keep testing. That's my.
Anyways,
One thing I just wanted to add here and to all our viewers is that in this panel, and there are so many people in LinkedIn that you can approach, you can learn from them, you can take guidance. Nobody would say no. I've never seen a person saying no, that I cannot give you this information, right? Unless you're asking inside information, which nobody will give. So please start approaching people and start to take that guidance. If one person is not giving, go to other person, but there is always avenues to learn.
But just one thing I want to add to what Soumya said. Well, don't just start the conversation by, hey, can you refer me to your company? Okay, if you build a connection, if you send a connection request, it is a connection request. You want to connect with that person. You want that person to have a connection with you. It is not just for job purpose that you send a message saying, hey, can you refer me? If I don't know anything about you, how can I refer you? It's as simple as that. So build that relationship, understand what is going on, help that person understand you better. Then automatically you will see that the connection request itself is helping you find that opportunity. Okay, so please don't do that on LinkedIn, saying, sending a random message to a random person saying, oh, can you refer me to this job, or do you have an opportunity, or do you have an opening?
And if you don't reply to them, then please don't get offended about that as well.
yes, that is also there. And if you don't get
what I feel that if you don't reply immediately, or maybe after 2 days you reply them, they just get so offended. I was like,
well,
okay.
I have an honest confession to make here, Naveen. I have more than 175 messages on my LinkedIn inbox at this point of time, because there is so much that comes in, traffic that comes in. I'm not able to respond to all messages all time. I try to respond to many of them. There are sometimes delays of 6-7 days, sometimes even 10 days before I can respond. So please understand, it is not that the other person is trying to be rude. I know a situation that Naveen is talking about. Okay, so Naveen and Mukesh probably must be getting like 200-300 messages in a day. It's not possible to keep up with those many.
Sometimes we get, what is any updates on this? Why should I update you whether I have replied or not? Why should I update you? They follow me twice, thrice. They send messages on Instagram. Instagram is only just for photos and video. Don't ask again questions on Instagram. Go to my personal life. Second thing, which everybody has mentioned, like Brijesh, you mentioned, right? 167 messages. So basically, take time on Fridays, 2 hours only for LinkedIn. 2 to 4 when I get sleepy. I see the real-time issues. I see the actual problems, and I reply on Friday. So maybe one thing that you can also start, just allocate 1 hour or 2 hours, because when somebody expect or maybe outsource.
Brijesh, you outsource just to check your emails.
I did for almost 18 months. I outsourced that email part, but when I saw that reply was not going as a personal email, it was just going like a technical reply. Because when I reply, I ask, how are you? Hope you're doing good, some blah, blah, blah. And then I reply. So when I outsourced that email part, it was not getting a personal touch. So I stopped now from last 3 months. But yeah.
Great. Okay, guys. So I think we are done now. Thank you so much for joining this session. I'm really, really grateful to all of you.
Thank you, Naveen, for hosting this.
Yes.
And all of us, all 7 of us are a part of the Test Chat community. So please feel free to join that community. And Naveen, Mukesh, they are doing an awesome job with their channels. If you haven't subscribed, you need to subscribe right now. Otherwise, it's trouble for you guys.
Thank you,
Thank you, Naveen.
Thank you,
that
Naveen.
community
Thanks.
as well.
Everyone.
For
Thank
giving
you.
this
Yeah.
thought about this particular seminar. And
It was
please
really
subscribe to
informative.
the Test Chat YouTube channel as well. And there are a lot of good test
It is.
speakers episodes are there. You can, instead of watching Netflix, maybe you can spend time over there as well. In fact, we all have given the interviews with the Brijesh.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. That's
I
great.
think one of us needs to take Brijesh's interview now. It's high
Yeah,
time.
Yeah, Brijesh has told me that there is certain number that he would reach and he will interview. I'll interview him. So
No, I am thinking of a way in which I can interview myself. Like
Oh,
like the me in me will answer the questions from me in me. And,
But yeah, thank you so much, guys. At Srinivas
you.
sir, thanks for sharing your DevOps
Thank you,
experience
Naveen.
and all those things.
mm.
And Soumya, great experience with you as well, like Dev to QA. And then thanks for sharing a lot of good things you guys are doing. Aparajita, thanks for clearing out those questions about the female candidates having the career gap, AI, ML things, and really, really thankful. Brijesh, no doubt about it, about the Scrum Master role and the Product Manager role on all those things. Thank you so much. And Shailesh, Mukesh, that really great stuff about Selenium and automation and career path about RPA is good or not, those things. So thank you so much, guys. We will meet again once again.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Alright.
Thanks, Naveen. Because
Thank you.
I used to watch all of you on LinkedIn. I used to follow, but personally never got connected. So now, thanks to Naveen, I got to know Srinivas, Soumya, Prajita, Sally. But yes, we have discussed already on the phone. I'm getting so much of positive vibes. I hope we'll have
Same here.
part 2 session of this also.
Yeah.
Still almost 2.5 hours. I'm not feeling tired. So still we can
Yeah.
continue for 2 more hours. But yeah, let's
And just to update you guys, this is the highest current viewer we are getting. It reached around 730.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
730
nice.
people watching at the same time. So that is the maximum highest number of viewers on channel. Thank you so much for making it.
Awesome.
we'll do a part 2.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
do a
Yeah,
part
we'll
two.
do soon. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Thanks everyone.
Alright.
Thanks everyone for
You
joining.
guys.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.